Fighting Saints of the University of St. Francis, Illinois. Up next with words and music by former University president, President Mr. Joel and Sheep. Here is the University of St. Francis fight song.
It's the University of St. Francis Cougars on Redeemer Radio. Now, live to the stadium with the voice of the Cougars, Joe Parson, and the Redeemer Radio sports team.
It's the Battle of St. Francis here today in Fort Wayne, Illinois, against Indiana. Hi, everybody. Welcome into Bishop John M. Darcy Stadium. Sean McBride joined us today again. I'm Joe Parson. We're here for the home opener against the USF Illinois Fighting Saints. St. Francis out of Joliet, Illinois. It has been a brutal opening path. Following 2 weeks ago, they opened at home against number 5 ranked Morningside, then taking a week off to prepare for the defending national champion St. Francis Cougars of Fort Wayne, ranked number 1. But about that game, Sean, 2 weeks ago for the Saints against the number 5 Mustangs, USF Illinois basically disdained the run, gaining just 50 yards, but through the air, completely different matter. As senior quarterback Don Butkus, yes, he is related to the legendary NFL middle linebacker, but this Butkus attempted 65 passes, completing 34 on the day for 520 yards and 3 touchdowns. And St. Francis, Illinois, Sean, actually led Morningside 14-0, still only a 3-point deficit at halftime. The Saints, though, never scored again in the second half, losing 41-24.
Anytime you've got a Butkus on the field, Joe, it's a dangerous situation, and this quarterback proves that he's got what it takes with an arm there. What's going to be the challenge for our Cougars today is going to be in the secondary. As you said, this is a pass-heavy offense from Illinois, so the defensive backfield will really be tested with a lot of hitches and a lot of slants, and then being tested deep as well. In
North Dakota, Cougars were sharp in their opener. Balanced attack, 293 on the ground, 289 through the air in the 55-7 victory. Coach Kevin Donnelly could use, in fact, on a day like that, 3 quarterbacks with 10 receivers catching at least one ball. And you look on the defensive side, stalwarts included Ryan Johnson. He had a critical interception early in the ball game. And Ahmad Rucker and Blake Blinker, they teamed up for a Cougar sack.
And again, what we see is that the defending national champions have not missed a step whatsoever. Again, a senior-laden team right here. And again, the Cougars have won 17 consecutive home openers, and they look for today to make it 18.
I'm going to go out on a limb here, Sean. Give you a guarantee, bet the house on it. St. Francis is going to win today.
Good call. Good
All
call.
St. Francis here today at Darcy Stadium, Indiana against Illinois, as the Cougars look for their 3rd series victory against the Fighting Saints. We'll take a timeout and be joined by Cougar coach Kevin Donnelly when we return. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram wants you to drive a new vehicle. Don't let credit issues discourage you, because Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has a finance approval plan just for you. No minimum job time, bankruptcy, foreclosure, divorce, student loans? Not a problem. All you need is a minimum monthly income of $800. That's it. You don't have to go to the fly-by-night, buy-here, pay-here place. You don't have to worry about payments that skyrocket after 6 months with hidden fees and rate hikes. And you don't have to worry about service after the sale. Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has a full service department and a full staff of sales and service professionals. So yes, you can have a big dealership experience, even with credit issues. Relax. Get a great new vehicle with a great new warranty, along with some great peace of mind. At Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, under the giant American flag on Coliseum, and online at glenbrookdodge.com. As American as it gets.
We are back with head coach Kevin Donnelly. No 18-hour bus trips this weekend for Coach Donnelly and the football Cougars coach, but last week in North Dakota, I thought very atypical for a first-game performance. Nick Ferrer, very efficient throwing the football. Justin Green running for 3 touchdowns. You had the 4th down short snap to Pearson Harnish, good for a touchdown. Those are things we don't normally see maybe to week 2, 3, 4. You guys were ready to play, getting right off the bus last week.
Well, we covered up some mistakes because we played hard, we played fast. But, we had some alignment errors on defense, had some missed assignments and blocking and route running, and had a few drop balls and that sort of thing. But it was a good game won. We played hard, we played fast, made mistakes. Got to continue to play hard and fast today and eliminate mistakes.
Tell me about this week, though, as you mentioned, things, coaches, I don't care how good it is, coaches always have things to work on. What were the points of emphasis, the things that you really felt you need to improve upon headed in now into week 2?
Eliminating the assignment errors that we had defensively. We lined up wrong, we got off the ball, we played fast, we made tackles. But, you get into big ball games and schematically you got to be solid, make sure you got gaps covered and zones covered and pass situations and so forth. Offensively, some missed blocking assignments, some incorrect routes that were run and so forth. And, when you have an offense that reads on the run coverage and has to adjust, it takes a while. But all in all, it was a pretty good game one.
Guess what? There's a Butkus in town today from Illinois. He's not a middle linebacker, but he's pretty darn good quarterback. Threw for over 500 yards last week. Tell us about what you see on film with the Saints and Don Butkus.
They're an outstanding football team. They've got some players. They've got size. They've got speed. They had Morningside down 2 touchdowns and let it slip away. Morningside, I thought, was the best football team we played last year. So it's a team that's pace, fast pace, get as many snaps as possible. I think they had 96 snaps against Morningside. So they throw the ball very well. They've got a good receiving core. Defensively, they give you something really unique with 33 staff. They've got good athletes back there. So it's going to be a real matchup for us. And I think it'll be a great measuring stick just to find out where we're at.
Cougar coach, head coach Kevin Donnelly in his 20th year as a head man of the Cougar football program. The only coach they've ever seen 1-0 coming into today's ball game here at home against Joe Curry in his 6th year as the head coach of the USF Illinois Fighting Saints. They are 0-1. A year ago, the Saints were 5-6. They lost 2 of their final 3 ball games. Did beat Olivet Nazarene 37-22 in the regular season finale. And as far as the Cougars a year ago, what a year. 13-1, 5-1 in the Mid-East League, and they won the NAIA National Football Championship 38-17 then in Daytona Beach. You wouldn't want to be there right now with Hurricane Irma bearing down, but it was 38-17 on that December evening. Let's take a 3-minute timeout, and we'll be back with more of our pregame presentation. This is the Cougar football broadcast on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Make a difference in your life and others by joining. Every great team has focus and talent.
Sweeter than strawberry pie, just like the morning your smile brings the sunshine.
The Parkview Family Birthing Centers, with everything you need for baby, plus birth planners, expert physicians, midwives, and more for you.
I'm a Parkview mom.
You can be too. Learn more at parkviewmom.com.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
How do you design one of the most advanced ERs in the country? At Parkview, we did it by focusing all our attention on you, the patient, by involving doctors and nurses in the design process, by creating quieter, more private spaces, and by leading the region in heart, stroke, and trauma care. This is not your typical emergency room, it's Parkview. In an emergency, isn't this where you'd rather be?
Parkview, your partner in health.
Friday Night Lights. Fort Wayne football from the comfort of your own home, or when you're on the go. The same night the pigskin touches the end zone, or is stopped dead in its tracks. 10 teams, 5 games, one website, SummitCitySports.com. Live stream high school games, score updates, and news hub for all Fort Wayne area athletics. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and SummitCitySports.com.
Go down to him because it's a lot stronger than that, trust me, up here above in the press box. But taking a look today, all eyes will be on Saints quarterback Don Butkus. That is that name. Yes, he is related to the former Bears great player Dick Butkus, a great nephew, as I understand it. But also that throwing arm 2 weeks ago in USF Illinois' season debut. Butkus threw for 520 yards. Not often do you see an NAIA quarterback throw for that kind of real estate and still lose, but Butkus attempted 65 passes, completing 34 on the day for the 520 yards, 3 touchdowns against number 5 ranked Morningside. But he was also picked off twice, sacked twice in the 41-24 loss to the Mustangs. As far as St. Francis, not bad at all as far as season opening efforts go. Cougars making the long, very long bus trip last weekend, opened the 2017 campaign on the road in North Dakota against the Jimmies of the University of Jamestown. St. Francis ran out to a quick pair of rushing touchdowns, one by Justin Green, another by Ryan Sonata, who, by the way, I thought ran very hard, very well en route to that 20-0 first quarter lead. Cougars would score 55 unanswered points before yielding a Jimmy's touchdown in the final 90 seconds. 582 yards of total offense. Mentioned the numbers, 293 on the ground and another 289 by air. And senior quarterback Nick Ferrer, almost in mid-season form, completing 17 of 20 passes for 254 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Sean Boswell running good routes. He topped USF receivers with 5 catches, good for 73 yards. And Rocky James also with a good day. He had 3 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown. Running back Justin Green taken right off as he had 11 carries, 94 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And Ryan Sonata, we mentioned, out of Bishop Dwenger, 10 rushes, 70 yards, and 1 touchdown. Right now, let's go down on the carpet down below, and Sean with Tom Burns, our referee. Getting the player introductions right now.
How you doing, guys? Hey, let's make sure that we all know this game's about sportsmanship. You take care of your men, you take care of your men, okay? No issues today. Play football, great game. You guys are all lucky to be here, and we're lucky to be here, okay? Thank you. All right, you're going to make the call. This is heads, this is tails. This is heads, this is tails. You're going to tell me what you call, you're going to repeat it, and he's going to tell me what he heard. And then I'm going to throw it, and it's going to hit the ground, okay?
Tails.
Tails.
You said tails.
It's in the air. It's tails. You've won the toss.
We'll defer.
You want to defer, okay? You want the ball. Which way you want to kick?
You want to kick it that way, defend this goal.
All right, come this way.
All right, Joe, so there you have it. It looks like Morningside won the toss, and it looks like St. Francis will receive and defending the south goal. Wind conditions down here, Joe. I know the forecast said it was going to be about 8 miles per hour. That is just a falsehood right there. The wind is going to be an issue today from the field here. Looks to be coming out of the north, and it is much harder than 8 miles per hour. So we'll check that throughout the game.
We'll see you back on top. Tom Burns sounded like a drill sergeant down there, by the way, directing traffic. We'll step out and we'll get ready for the home opener here. And St. Francis is going to win. Which one? No, Illinois or Indiana? This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
His grease on.
Beautiful baby, you're sweeter than strawberry pie. Just like the morning, your smile brings the sunshine.
The Parkview Family Birthing Centers, with everything you need for baby. plus birth planners, expert physicians, midwives, and more for you.
I'm a Parkview mom.
You can be too. Learn more at parkviewmom.com.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
Use them for your greater honor and glory in a spirit of fairness and competition, so that this game may truly be a way of bringing to the world an awareness of you who are Lord forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Strap in and turn up the radio for hard-hitting, high-scoring USF Cougar football. Coach Kevin Donnelly joins Joe Parson and the Redeemer Radio sports team for one of the great traditions in Fort Wayne sports as we count down to the kickoff on Redeemer Radio.
And welcome back, everybody. We get ready here for this home opener for the Cougars. Saints won the toss, deferred. They'll kick away from left to right. Justin Green is back deep and kick return. He had one last week against the Jimmies for 29 yards. And we get ready to get this one underway here at Darcy Stadium. St. Francis out of Illinois getting ready to kick it away. Here comes the boot, high end over end. That'll be wind assisted. It'll go 2 yards deep into the end zone. Green's going to bring it out. Cuts to the 5 to the 10, trying to get the outside. Is not going to get much done. He'll get only back to the 10-yard line. So the Cougars will have their first offensive snaps coming up, Sean, but bottled up deep in their own territory.
Yeah, it looks like 90 yards to go here, Joe. And just a note to our listeners, if you're coming out to Darcy Stadium, they have not installed an elevator to the press box, and the stands have not gotten any shorter. So
allow yourself plenty of time and maybe some oxygen.
Yes.
Cougar offensive line averaging 270 a man. As Connor Holcomb, the transferred guard, now working at center. Jalen Gamble and Austin Smoger started last week at a guard with Nick Shoemaker and Alex Woods at tackle. As a first snap, and they'll give to Green. Green cuts to up the middle and wrapped up. He fights his way. Did he lose the football? And looked like got it back, but that was near disaster. Now, boy, there's a couple of Saints going down well after the play, and I don't know if they just got tripped up, but didn't Tom Burns say, let's take care of business? And
yeah. Nice, clean game. Just play some football, and there seems to be some extracurriculars afterwards. No flags so far. And let's see where they spot this.
They're going to mark that ball up around the 14-yard line, and I think the fumble net them an extra couple, 2-3 yards.
I would agree with that. Fumbling forward helped the Cougars that time.
So it'll be second down, and let's call it 6. Early moments of the ball game. First possession for USF. Rocky James in, wide to the left side, 2 wide to the right. Ferrer out of the pistol, hands the ball again. Green looking for running room up the middle, plunges the pile forward across the 20, and he's got the first down of the ball game.
Again, with the St. Francis balanced attack here, we're going to see Ferrer go to the air at some point. But if you can tear off 5 or 6 yards on a carry right up the middle like that, you've got a lot of options moving forward.
Want to try to establish the run initially. That's what they've done with Green the last 2 carries. He stays in there as the running back, this time flanked off to the left side of Ferrer. Nick now moves up a step or 2, and they'll have 2 wide to the left this time. So on the first down call, here's Ferrer, does want to throw, looking, pulls it down, and still in the grasp, throws the ball, completes to Justin Green, turns the corner up across the 25-yard line and up to the 27. The whistle did not blow. They had Ferrer by the ankles, but he wasn't going down.
Just incredible the stamina this guy has, and then to be able to stand there with the guy wrapped up around his legs and find an open receiver in the flats on the left side, gunned it right out there. He seems to be fine looking over at the sidelines here, and it's all good.
So the Cougars have come up smelling like roses on a couple of the plays. One where it looked like they fumbled the ball away initially, and then with Ferreira apparently trapped up. But instead it's second down and 5. Again, Green dances his way up the middle. Second effort pushing the pile up across the 30. And it'll be short of the first down up around the 32-yard line. Looks to be short by about a yard or so.
Holcomb and Gamble that time, doing a fine job getting a nice push, as Green was very patient, dancing around in the backfield, looking for that seam, was able to find it, and then finally getting, like I said, a nice push by the guys in the middle to get a first down.
So they give him a good spot on the ball. It is good for a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 at the USF. They'll mark it up around the 33-yard line. Ferrer this time out of the gun now. Looking to his right. He's got a trips package out there. Steps up. Changes maybe the play call once again. And looking, dropping to throw. Looking. Throws near side. He's got a catch. That's Rocky James. Sprints away. Got the midfield and a couple of yards deep into St. Francis, Illinois territory. Rocky James with a good effort after the catch, Sean.
Yeah, he got at least 5 additional yards after he was able to shake off that corner in single coverage. And we look for James to have really a fantastic year. I'm really looking forward to his play, especially if he can do that on every ball that he catches.
That's one thing that Nick Ferrer really emphasized at the media luncheon on Thursday. He thought that Rocky James was just going to be super this year. Zach Gagner now not tight. He's at part of a trip package right, but here's a run up the middle. Green takes a hit at the 45. Holds on to the ball. One of the things I asked Nick, I said, what do you see about the Saints on film? And he said, well, they've got a little different defense that they kind of play back. They are reactive to what you do, not necessarily the type of attacking defenses. Got very good linebackers, so it'll be a little bit of a different challenge.
And they look to that even in their formation. It's a 3-4 defense, so it's more of a spread down low, which allows those linebackers to really get good looks into those gaps.
And look at the corners. Corners playing well off about 10, 12 yards and one safety back. So it'll be 2nd down and 8. Ferrer standing in mid, feeds the ball near side. There's a catch, and I believe that's Gagner with it. And Gagner tiptoes his way close to another first down inside the Saints' 40-yard line.
Gagner did a nice job of just trucking that defensive back onto his seat cushion that way and running right through him and getting very close to a first down.
Waiting till they spot that ball, and Tom Burt's taking a look as well. Now marks the ball ready for play. Boy, that is very, very close. The ball is inside the 38. The down marker really is not doing justice to that. It looks like maybe about the length of a football short. 11:42 remaining in the opening quarter. First possession of the game, St. Francis. And the look at play action fake. Here's Ferrer looking. Dials one up on a crossing pattern, complete at the 20-yard line. And there's Rixey. Dan Rixey with a good route, a little curling pattern down deep. And the Cougars approaching the red zone.
I tell you, Rixey found that spot. He was well into that backfield, and then he hooked across the line and was able to drag through, and he was wide open. He had 2 steps on the closest defender. And, of course, Ferrer, what he does, he puts it right on the money.
Cougars now bringing in Nate Carson, 6'2 junior. He's sent wide to the right side. In the slot to the right side will be Boswell. Sean played really, really well last week, I thought. Really dialed in on the same page with Ferrer. A little motion now by Gagner, sets up off the wing, left side, stretch handoff, comes to Green. Green looking for a block, dances outside, not much there. And knocked out of bounds right around the 20-yard line.
Good pursuit that time by the Fighting Saints as they were able to get over there and really seal off anything inside. They pushed it outside, and that allowed the corner and the safety to come up and make the play.
Did you see Connor Holcomb, the center? He got over there near the sideline and was trying to deliver a block. So big fella at senior 270, still with some quicks. Same set with Carson wide right, Boswell in the slot right. Green offset to the left of Nick Ferrer, quarterback. And we get ready for the 2nd down, and let's still call it 10 yards. Here's a short drop. They look to the left side, the short of the corner, and the catch is made. They reach for the goal line, and I don't think it will. Chrisman, nice delivery, though. Caught it off the backside shoulder, but they won't give him the touchdown, but it'll bring up 1st and goal from down deep.
Hey, Chrisman, we're going to keep an eye on him now. He is a sophomore, checking in at 6'6", 216, wearing number 11. That's a special number here at the University of St. Francis, coming off of last year. And he has some maturing to do, but he was able to hold on to that ball and get it in, and now they're set up raring to go.
He's got some Seth coat size.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit more experience. Now it'll be 1st and goal inside the 2. Gagner in motion, left to right behind the line of scrimmage now. And here's the stretch hand. Green can just walk into the end zone untouched. It will be a 2-yard touchdown. So easy for the Cougars at the 9:46 mark on the board to lead this game early.
Well, it's a 90-yard drive there, Joe, and they made it look textbook. They had a little run. They had some nice passing in there. And, again, we talked about a balanced attack for the Cougars today, and it was on display on their first drive.
So Green walks into the end zone, set up by the Chrisman catch at the 2. And now Gavin Gardner comes on to attempt the extra point. Trying to make it a 7-0 lead. Here's the hold, is good. The kick is on the way, and that's good. 7-0 Cougars taking care of business in the early going against the USF Illinois Fighting Saints. We'll be back, and we'll see what kind of an answer the Saints have got. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Hello, I'm Tom Steele with Tom Steele Tire and Auto
Sean, you'll have an
Repair.
H&L.
A family-owned business for over 35 years. We carry all major brands of new tires, as well as a large selection of quality used tires to save you money. We do all types of auto repairs, be it brakes, alignment, or just fix your air conditioning. Tom Steele Tire, North Clinton or Illinois Road. Give us a try. You'll be glad you did.
Cougar fans, H&L Electric is your full-service electrical contractor. From commercial, industrial, to residential, H&L Electric can handle the smallest to the largest of projects for your business or residence. Call Pete Henry at H&L Electric.
Pretty good opening drive by St. Francis, going 90 yards, capped by the 2-yard touchdown run by Justin Green. That's his 4th touchdown now in just basically 5 quarters of football.
At the end of that drive, I see Coach Trevor Miller out there. He's the O-line coach, strength and conditioning, and he had to been very happy. That O-line did their job play after play, creating some good holes and some nice drives, and moved the chains right down the field. He should be pleased with the big uglies up front.
Jarrell Williams and Lexus Jackson back deep for the Saints. Driving kick into the end zone. They're going to let that go. That's against the wind.
Yeah. Wow. He was 8 yards deep when he touched. That was a huge kick right there.
Wow, look at the flag blowing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's dead against the wind. So that bodes well for St. Francis. As it is, they'll come out. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Saints. And we'll get our first look of the day at 6-foot senior quarterback Don Butkus. What a name. Does that have some real legendary lore as far as Chicago Bears fans? A week ago, Butkus, or 2 weeks ago, they took the week off preparing for St. Francis, Indiana. 34-65 for 52%, 520 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, though, and 2 sacks. Shotgun formation for Butkus. A lot of motion now, left to right. They'll hand the ball, a sweep coming right side, and looking for some running room. Again, getting it across the 30 to the 32. That's a pretty good run.
Jackson, the ball carrier.
Stop was made by James Jamesich out of Carroll High School, and that'll be a gain of about 8 yards. And that's something they did not do against Morningside. They only ran for 50 yards in that opening game.
Yeah, Alexis Jackson, just a simple jet sweep to the right side, and it paid dividends, bringing up a 2nd and short.
One back look. They've got Jordan Smith as the running back. He's offset to the right side of Butkus. On 2nd down and short, they'll give this. No, it's a play action fake. They'll throw, and there's a catch for a 1st down. Quick hitting play, and they connect. That's to Ray Below, spelled B-A-L-L-O-T. They got kind of a French connection here.
I agree. Yeah, Lee Stewart on the stop that time, but some very interesting names. You talked about that. Below and
Jean-Peter Zach. We'll see him later today. Number 7, he has 6 catches last week. 1st and 10, improving field position for the Saints. Empty backfield now, and they've got 4 wide to the left side. And here's a quarterback draw and a run to the right, and that's a Butkus sliding down. And he's just short of midfield. Let's see where they spot the ball up around the 45-yard line. So, again, we see a little bit more emphasis on the run game today than perhaps the Saints showed a couple of weeks ago.
And it looks, was there a, okay, they're going to mark him down at the 44.
Where he started the slide.
Clearly designed quarterback draw that time. They went student body left, and then he went right. They got a good seal block from the offensive tackle on the right side.
Same set with this time 3 wide to the left, 2 wide to the right. Here's the drop by Butkus, looking time in the pocket, throws over the middle, and wow, I aired that one out, incomplete. Looking for his favorite receiver, Brandon Ruffin, and we're going to have a penalty flag, maybe a roughing call?
I believe that's exactly what it's going to be. He got rid of that ball and was standing there for a second, and then the defensive tackle came in and gave him a shot to the back. So I think this is going to be roughing the passer.
Number 99 on the defense.
Yeah.
Automatic 1st down.
That'll go against Jordan May on the personal foul. Big walk-off against the Cougars, so that'll take the ball into USF Indiana territory. They'll spot it at the 41. Brandon Ruffin, a year ago, Sean, as a freshman, led him with 57 catches. And 2 weeks ago against Morningside, he had 6 caught balls for 118 yards and a couple of touchdowns. So he'll be a main. And here's a run, a little inside handoff to Jordan Smith, trying to angle to the left and brings it down to about the 37-yard line.
26, Jordan Smith on the carry.
Spencer Coward steps away from things with his hands up. No harm, no foul.
Not me. We're just here playing football.
By 39, Eric Dunton.
That's a gain of 3. So I'm a little surprised maybe we're seeing a little bit more.
I agree. We talked about a pass-heavy offense, and they've kept things mostly on the ground so far.
Trying to cross the Cougars up a little bit. 2nd down and 7. Butkus out of the gun once again. 2 wide either side of the field. Cougar show blitz defensive right side. Here's Butkus in the pocket. Now flush to his left and moves upfield, slides down again. He wanted no part of a hit by Jordan May, who goes at 6'2", 242, and slides down at about the 38-yard line. And what do we have? Another. Is that Butkus down?
Yeah, I think we've got a Saint down, and that's him. That is Butkus. After the slide, he went down hard. So what happened is that May came in on the stunt. He started outside and then went inside right up the A-gap and flushed him from the pocket. Butkus saw that there was nothing to do but scatter. And when he went out forward, he hit the ground pretty hard, even though he was sliding.
Might have fell down awkward. Now they help him up. He's got to come out for at least one play. And that would bring in Keegan James as the band. Now he's limping heavily. Tell you what, while we've got a moment, let's take a quick 30-second timeout. Cougars on top 7-0. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Hello, sports fans. This is Father Bob Guerrero, chaplain at Bishop DeWanger High School. It is time to get geared up for our fall sports season. Whether competing on the soccer field, golf, or cross-country course, volleyball court, or on the gridiron, we wish good luck and great sportsmanship to all our student athletes and their teams. May we become the saints we are called to be. Saint Sebastian, pray for us.
Keegan James is the backup quarterback. He's a 6'1 sophomore, 210-pounder. He rolls off his left side. They had a bunch lineup that actually had one uncovered receiver. And we'll see if the Cougars, but it's going to be 4th down coming up. And let's see, are they going to go for it? They're going to roll the dice. They got to get to the Cougar 31 to convert on this 4th down bid. James stays in as the quarterback in relief, at least for the moment, of Don Butkus, who has been injured here in the early going. And here's James dropping to throw. Looks, throws the left side. He's got a man out there. There's a ball deflected away and nearly caught. It was on the deflection a couple of times, nearly intercepted, but incomplete. So the Cougars, the good news, Sean, they get a 4th down stop and they'll take over the football at their own 35, leading it 7-0.
Yeah, boy, that was nearly a pick, and not only once but twice as it went into the hands of the cornerback, had it there first. And then the free safety had a shot at it, and unfortunately couldn't wrap it up. I believe that was Marcus Stepp out there in pass protection. And the ball was in his breadbasket, but he was looking downfield at all those green acres in front of him and dropped the ball off of the tip.
Well, Marcus has had a couple of picks. In fact, in the national championship game, he had 8 tackles, 1.5 for loss, and 1 sack. But that'll bring the Cougar offense back onto the field, and that tells you what Joe Curry thinks, that anytime we get anywhere near, we've got to go for it regardless. Sure. Now, whistles blow, and there's going to be, what, a penalty?
Yes. Let's see what the White Hat says.
Back, number 17, 5-yard penalty.
Looks like Justin Green might have been moving a little bit forward before the snap. That'll cost him 5. Looking last week as far as penalties, Cougars had 10 for 69. They averaged a year ago 67 yards a game in penalties. Now they face 1st down and 15. Again, the corners playing well off, and 2 safeties back for the Saints. 7-0 USF Indiana. The early lead ranked number 1. Now Ferrer out of the pistol, barking out the signals, waits for the snap. He's got that and lost the ball. It's loose, and I believe it's going to be taken by, it will be recovered, and that was just trouble from the get-go, and the Saints have got a marvelous opportunity. They'll have it 1st and 10 at the Cougar 21.
That was just a botched snap, and unfortunately that's going to be on Ferrer. The ball was right there at his chin, and I Was he looking at the blitz coming is the question, because he just lost that ball. It hit the ground, and the defense was there to cover. So, wow, that is a very unusual misstep by the Cougar offense.
So the turnover gives the Saints life at the Cougar 22. James stays in as the backup quarterback. And waiting to have motion now from right to left behind the line of scrimmage. And the whistles blew begin right as that play developed.
Marker on the field.
Not hearing the whistles real well up here, but we see
Offense, number 80. 5-yard
that was
penalty.
Ruffin, Brandon Ruffin, their talented sophomore 6'4" receiver that again was moving early, so that'll cost them 5 yards.
And again, this could be because the backup quarterback is in there, different cadence, not really used to him. So that could be 5 yards against the Saints for that reason right there. Let's see.
They had 2 against Morningside for just 15 yards. That one hurts them. Here's the drop by James, and whistles blew again. Again, it'll be procedure.
False start, 23 on the offense.
This one goes against one of the wingbacks, so.
Yeah, this is certainly between the quarterback and the center at this point. It looks like their backup quarterback, Keegan James, is throwing off the rhythm of the offense at this point.
That one went against Noah Johnson, freshman. So was a drive that started on the fumble recovery at the 22. It's now back at the 32-yard line. James with 2 wide either side of the field. Keegan James, the backup quarterback, and wants to throw the ball, and he's got a catch here. And at the 25, Cougars defend that very well. Blake Schumacher came up as the catch was made for the Saints. That was Jalen Moore. Zach Marino's also off there as one of the wideouts.
Ryan Johnson also doing a fine job in pass protection out there, helping to wrap him up.
So they get a lot of the penalty yardage back. It'll be for both penalties. It'll be 2nd down and 10. This time from the right side hash mark. James has got motion to the weak side to the right. Keeps the ball himself and is nailed. Got a couple of yards to the 22, but I think that was Coward that came pinching in there. It was, and boy, he made sure of that tackle.
Yeah, the quarterback paid for that one. If in fact that was a read option, that was a poor decision to tuck it and run. He should have kept it to the jet sweep right, because he paid for that right there in the middle.
They got Michael Johnson now in as the running back, flanked to the left side of quarterback Keegan James. On 3rd down and 10. Cougars show blitz, zone blitz coming up the middle. Here's James, is picked up over the middle, and that ball nearly picked off, and now a penalty flag. Was that ball tipped, though? Why do you throw the penalty flag? Lee Stewart's got his palms extended. I thought the ball might have been touched.
And I thought Stewart had a clean shot at it. I didn't see a penalty happen there, but we're not on the field either, Joe. So
officials are conferring. Tom Burns with 3 others of his crew. So a little bit of a discussion. There's 7-0 St. Francis with 4:55 remaining in the opening quarter.
Defense number 4.
They are going to rule pass interference against Lee Stewart.
Well, I didn't see it, but the official sure did. And that is a costly penalty. That's a red zone penalty against the Cougars.
So that'll take the ball inside the 15. It'll be 1st down. They spot it now, and here we come. Keegan James, a little connection, trying to hand it off. In an off-tackle run to the left by Michael Johnson, leaning in, and gets down close to the 11-yard line, I believe, where they spot it. Knows the football just outside the 10. So the Saints trying to cash in on the turnover by St. Francis, Indiana. It's a gain of a couple, 2nd down, and they can pick up a 1st down, I believe, just without scoring. Empty backfield now for James. Keegan James has the snap, drops 2 yards now, wrapped up and trying to sprint away, and nearly got away, still on his feet. And it took 4 Cougars to bring him down. This is a big kid at 6'1", 210.
He did not want to go down and finally succumbs near the 17-yard line, but forward progress might push him a little bit further.
Tell you what, you keep fighting like that, you better have a number 3 quarterback standing by.
That's right. boy, oh boy.
So that is a loss. It'll be third down and about 13 with 3:47 remaining. They'll mark it at the left side hash mark. James now does have a protector in to his right and looks to throw. Looking. Now dumps it off on a crossing pattern. They've got Michael Johnson, and he'll get down to about the 10.
Number 23, Michael Johnson.
So Johnson on the screen, and they will try for 3 here to get on the board.
Good decision that time when the defense comes that way and the linebackers suck up to do a middle screen. But again, Marcus Stepp was in there and did a good job pursuing and limiting that play.
This will be a 27-yard field goal attempt from the left side hash mark. Grayson Barnett was 1 for 2 inside the 30 last week. Did hit a 25. This will be from 27. It's long enough on the way, and it is good. So the Saints of USF Joliet on the board with 2:56 remaining in the quarter. 7-3 ball game. We'll step out, and we'll be back here to Darcy Stadium. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Hey, it's Kyle from the Kyle Hyman Show, heard weekdays from 7 to 8 a.m. here on Redeemer Radio. And every morning we meet you where you are, getting out of bed, drinking your coffee, on your way to work, and through prayer, guests, personal stories, sometimes games, we bring you Catholicism with joy and fun to start your day. So don't miss the Kyle Hyman Show weekdays from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on Redeemer Radio.
One of the things the Cougars, I thought, John, really excelled in last year, they didn't hurt themselves with turnovers. And this one does result in 3 points. Could have been worse, but again, you got to shake it off. And the good news, you still got the lead at 7-3.
Well, a couple interesting things there. You know, for the Saints, that drive started on the 22-yard line, and that was a very time-consuming drive to go 22 yards and end up with only 3 points. So kudos to the St. Francis Cougar defense that time by limiting that score. But this is what good teams do. They create points off of turnovers, and so the Saints were able to do that, albeit 3.
Justin Green sets up and kick return at the Cougar 5.
81, Casey Cole, number 9.
And getting ready, here come the Saints kicking the ball away. This is off the side of the foot. Is that going to kick out of bounds? It does around the 25-yard line. Now, do you ask them to re-kick with Green back there? By the way, it was Rixey back there, not Green. Dan Rixey was the kick returner, 7 versus 17. And I think Kevin Donnelly's going to take field position.
Well, and that's both an interesting kick and a decision that time because really he's got the wind. I don't understand why he kicked it out of bounds like that.
Golf shot, Sean.
Yeah.
My golf.
Okay.
You're looking straight down, it goes far left.
Yeah.
So St. Francis sends the offensive unit back out once again. And they'll try again. By the way, Austin Smoger does start today again, second week in a row at right guard.
Yeah, I thought for sure that ball was going to sail out of the end zone, but not the case.
So Ferrer sets up again at the 35 this time. Sneaking in, they show blitz up the middle. Here it comes as they hand the ball off, and there's Green up the middle, running on 45-50, cuts to the outside, straight arms one. He's at the 40-yard line, spun around. Do they have the face mask? Looked kind of awkward as that tackle came around the helmet area. But a big run by Justin Green and into Saints territory, 1st and 10 at the 40.
Well, again, the defense was slanting to the right. They were doing the stunts already, and, of course, he was able to recognize that and shoot to his right, which means the defensive left. And, boy, he found some daylight right through the middle.
Like those dance moves, though.
Yes.
Clock approaching 2.5 minutes time remaining here in the opening quarter. 7-3, St. Francis out of Indiana. In 2 wide either side of the field. Ferrer out of the pistol, wants to throw, looks near side in the slot. He's got Boswell. Boswell tripped up, but he'll have 6-7 yards. And he'll carry down to the 33 of Illinois.
Just a little pitch and catch right there, a little hitch pattern. Boswell doing a nice job finding that bubble. And, of course, Ferrer puts it on the money and a nice little gain.
Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4.
2nd and 3.
Rocky James, who had a nice over-the-shoulder touchdown catch a week ago. The lone wide to the left side. Rixey split wide to the right, part of a 3-wide package, including Zach Gagner. And here's Ferrer once again on 2nd down and fairly short. Taking a lot of time, taking a look at that defense by the Saints. Now the snap comes, and he looks to throw. Throws over the middle. Looking has got Rocky James. Easy pitch and catch for a touchdown. Good for 33 yards on second down and short. And the Cougars on the board again. The lead at 13-3.
Beautiful. Rocky James had separation. He had at least a yard and a half in front of his quarterback. Single coverage out there. James able to pull it in. Beautiful throw by Ferrer. Just a textbook play.
So Ferrer atones for the turnover. And Rocky James with his touchdown catch, almost very similar to the one last week in North Dakota. This one, though, nobody near him. And now Gardner comes on to try to make it a 14-3 lead. Kick is on the way, booms it on the way, and good. So 14-3, USF Indiana on top with 96 seconds remaining in the quarter. We'll return to Darcy Stadium. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Programming on Redeemer Radio is underwritten in part by Bob Busher Homes. Floor plan customization is what they specialize in. Find floor plans, building sites, and read Bob's story on the web at bobbusherhomes.com. Bob Busher Homes is locally owned with offices in Fort Wayne and Angola. For more information about new home building or remodeling, Bob Busher Homes can be reached at 260-490-3355.
With Sean McBride, I'm Joe Parson back at Bishop John M. Dorsey Stadium, and I'm starting to get the impression, Sean, a little bit, this reminds me of my arena football days where, you look at 60 to 42 games maybe.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if that's going to happen, but good start.
Well, again, for the St. Francis Cougars, an interesting number to keep an eye on here. Nick Ferrer has 2 TDs per game, 2 TD passes per game. He is working on 28 in a row. If, in fact, he's able to get another touchdown pass during this game, that'll be a bare minimum 2 touchdown passes for 28 straight games. That is how potent this offense is.
Cougars ready to kick it away. Look at Jarrell Williams. He is standing 4 yards deep in the end zone, and Alexis Jackson's back there as well. Here's the kick coming down. It'll be fielded inside the 5 at the 3. And a return left side by Williams. Williams looking for running room and runs into trouble and nudges across the 15 out to about the 20, maybe the 21. So that is where the Saints, and will they have Don Butkus back at quarterback? He went out earlier in the quarter. Looked like he just kind of fell awkwardly.
Yeah, I think it was a self-inflicted injury as he was skidding forward. He went for that slide.
Wasn't hit by any of the guys in silver and blue.
And he's not back on the field.
They'll stay with Keegan James at least for the time being. Spread offense once again, 90 seconds remains in the quarter. 14-3, St. Francis ranked number 1. And they'll run the ball. Here's the play action fake. They'll throw the ball. A high fingertip catch that time by Valo. Valo got to the 25, maybe another yard. Or are they going to spot him up around the 26, maybe the 27?
Stan Jackson from his cornerback position was right there to limit the yards. No yards after the catch there.
Looking at the Cougars secondary, Blake Schumacher out of Carroll High School, one of the safeties back. Lee Stewart, also 2 safeties back for St. Francis. Second down and 4. James looking to hand the ball off. Now throws again. That one, nobody home. Boy, he was nailed.
Oh, my goodness.
That was Matt Swartz who came in there and said, "Hello, Mr. Keegan." And he comes up limping. Or is that Butkus back in there? It is Butkus.
Okay.
Well, that leg's not going to feel any better after that hit.
Just for our listeners' edification here, Matt Swartz as nose tackle, 6'1", 280-pound sophomore. And he does have his own zip code.
Saints trying to reach their own 31 now on this third down call. Cougars coming up. They do still drop 2 safeties back. Here's Butkus dropping the throw. Looks over the crossing pattern. Incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. That one's in and out of the hands of Alexis Jackson on a crossing pattern. He did not look like he had enough yardage, but no chance on that one. It'll bring up 4th down, and the Saints will have to kick the ball away.
Well, and I think, too, that Don Butkus, he was hearing the blitz coming. Eric Dutton from his linebacker position was shooting that gap over there. And I think he had to release just a little too early with a little too much heat on that ball.
Now, Sean, let me tell you about this kid, Luke Nelson back there. He has got a big, big leg. He had 9 punts against Morningside. He had a 71-yarder long on the day, averaged 45 yards. Here comes the block kick, though, and St. Francis is going to have the football in good position. They pick up the football. There's a run. Is that Stepp?
It is Marcus Stepp.
Marcus Stepp picked up the loose football inside the 15, and the Cougars in business first. And there's a penalty flag, though. Now let's hold on. Tom Burns, our referees, talking things over. But either way, I think St. Francis, barring a personal foul against the silver and blue, they're going to have great field position. Officials talking things over. Ferrer was headed out on the field, now starting to walk back. Kevin Donnelly talking to some.
Okay.
They pick up the flag, no personal foul, no foul, I should say. And St. Francis on the block kick. Didn't see who came through there.
Unfortunately, there was mayhem right in the middle. They brought a lot of pressure right up the gut, and it was successful. And the ball then just kind of flipped around, and then, of course, the standout from Bishop Dwenger, Marcus Stepp, comes up with it and advances it a couple yards down to the 15.
So it'll be 1st and 10. Green comes out as the running back. Rocky James has just caught the touchdown. This time it's sent wide to the right. Boswell up on the slot to the left side. And Will Chrisman wide of him. And here is Ferrer looking to throw, can't find anything. Flush to his right, looks back near side, now got rid of the football. Good decision by Nick. Just aired it out. He did have an option back to the near side. I thought that was Blackwell that maybe had a shot, or Carson it was. But anyway, it falls incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, good senior leadership on display by Ferrer that time. He didn't panic. He stepped out of some pressure, had plenty of time, really, except for that one time, and then there was nothing there and just decided to throw it away. Being, again, 2nd and 10 on the 15-yard line, he knows he's got plenty of options to punch it in.
Casey Call has come in. He's tight to the right side. Actually, it's a wingback right now. Clock shows 27.4. Play action fake, a spin to the right side for a bullet throw. It has Boswell spun around inside the 10, short of the 1st down stick. So they'll mark it at about the 8-yard line and bring up 3rd down.
Boswell on a little drag route over the middle.
They won't get another playoff, I don't believe, so they'll move to the opposite end. The final 3 seconds will tick off the clock. And the Cougars, with 2 touchdowns in the opening quarter, lead, invading USF Joliet 14-3. We'll be back with quarter 2 action coming up. We'll take a 1-minute timeout. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Is Greece on your bucket list? Travel with Redeemer Radio Odysseys to Greece in the footsteps of St. Paul in the spring of 2018. Join us for an information presentation webinar on Thursday, August 31st at 6 p.m. at either our Fort Wayne or South Bend office, or even on your home computer. Please register online to attend at redeemerradio.com/travel. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, August 31st to learn more about our Greece Odyssey.
The DeHaze Group is a locally owned, full-service insurance agency that has been servicing clients in Northeast Indiana since 1982. We have proven strategies that link our clients to exclusive insurance programs. Kevin Burns is a proud supporter of sports on Redeemer Radio. Call him at 260-424-5600 for all your insurance needs. The DeHaze Group, exceeding expectations, beyond insurance.
With Sean McBride, I'm Joe Parson. Welcome back to Darcy Stadium. Cougars with the football down deep. They've got it 3rd down and 4 at the 9-yard line. 14-3 St. Francis. Justin Green walking into the end zone for the first score, and then Rocky James with a wide open catch in the left corner. Now, though, to try to crate down deep, a little motion left to right behind the line of scrimmage. That's a blocker for Green. Steps his way around 1, inside the 5, won't get to the end zone. Knocked down, maybe spun around to the 3, got knocked back to about the 4, but they set the ball down at the 3. It'll be 1st and goal.
When they look at that play again during the film study, Rixey's going to get a little talking to. No block, no rock, so he should have stayed on his block out there as a wideout, and they might have seen a little bit more success, maybe even a touchdown on that play. But again, 1st and goal, so no harm, no foul.
Nose of the football just outside the Saints 3. Well, that sounds funny when you're talking about Saints, but it's Saturday. Now Bishop Dwenger. They'll give the green again. Green going nowhere. Boy, good defensive surge that time. Coming across, I think that was Roger Thigpen.
think you're right, Joe. Boy, I don't know if somebody missed him, but yeah, Thigpen, number 32, the senior, got in, shot a gap, and hit him right after he got the ball. So that's going to be a little loss on the play.
This time the nose of the football outside the Saints 5. It'll be 2nd and goal. I think they're officially going to say that at the 6. One wide, Rixey to the short side to the right. Other than that, it's the tight formation. And here is a play action fake. And Ferrer looking back, nobody home, left side, got to get rid of the ball again, throws it away, and took a hit. Boy, right in front of Tom Burns. Wow.
No call on that?
And Ferrer flexing out a leg.
Wow.
You know, I'm watching Kevin Downley here on the near sidelines, and no animation, so he says, toughen it up.
Yeah, we'll give you that one.
So now Green checks out of the game. Rixey checks out of there. We'll see Rocky James coming in. There's Crispin in wide to the left side. And Boswell up in the slot to the left side. Gegner up on the wing to the left side as well. It'll be 3rd down and goal from the 6. Here's for a quick throw right side and catch made just like that. Rocky James touchdown.
I say that's James twice on the day, right?
Quick slant.
Yeah.
And 6 yards, problem solved.
Yeah.
No problem.
So 2 touchdown passes from Ferrer, both caught by Rocky, and another 6 points on the board for the Cougars.
Cougars add points on the board, now up 20-3. And Gardner, Gavin Gardner will check in to try to add that 21st point of the afternoon. Looking for the, here's the hole. The kick is blocked at the line of scrimmage. That goes into the end zone, and that will do that. So it'll be block kick. It'll remain 20-3. Cougars by 17 at the 13:47 mark. We'll step out. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Looking for an orthopedic specialist? Ortho Northeast has been serving the community for 50 years with offices in 3 convenient locations. Dr. John Pritchard is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon with 24 years of experience with O&E and can assist you with the best treatment plan for your knee or shoulder pain. Dr. John Pritchard is looking forward to meeting you and helping with all your orthopedic needs. Call Dr. Pritchard at 260-484-8551 or online at ortho1.com.
So the Cougars cash in again. Well, that was just a quick, crisp passing. I mean, Ferrer wasting little time, just a quick hitting pass to the right corner of the end zone to Rocky James.
And it really highlights how important those snaps are, Joe, because when as a quarterback, when you can get that ball right at your chest, you don't have to worry about getting into that formation or finding the laces on the ball, because as soon as he got that ball, it was out of his hands, frozen rope to James. That's 3 catches by James for 59 yards and 2 touchdowns already here in the first half.
Jarrell Williams again back deep in the kick return along with Lexus Jackson. They're inside the 5. Let's see how Gardner does now with the wind behind him. Approaching, gets the kick end over end, and that one is going to come down about a yard or 2 deep, and they'll bring it out. Jarrell Williams cuts to his right. Looking at the 5 to the 10, stumbles a little bit, got running room out across the 30, 35 to the 40 to midfield. And boy, no containment on the left side. It'll be 1st and 10. Saints with their best starting field position of the ball game.
Wow, tremendous return that time by the Saints. The wall was set, and he was able to find some room. I don't know if there was lane violations, but not really a good fill job by the St. Francis Cougar cover team there.
They're going to mark that ball at the Cougar 46-yard line. That is basically about a 53-yard kickoff return.
1st and 10 on the Cougar 46-yard line.
So Butkus did come back in, Don Butkus, in that last series. And we'll confirm that he's out there right now. He is. Quick screen to the right side. And not much after the catch.
Got a flag over there too, Joe.
Pass complete to number 3, Ray Below.
You know, there are some rules about, yes, you can block, but you've got to be in the right position on those screens where you have a blocker out in front.
39, Eric Dunton.
And Tom Burns going to let us know here.
Belt from 31, Marcus Stout. Hold offense, number 7, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That was one of those blockers, Jean Peterzak. That was called for an illegal block, trying to set a screen, help the screen, I should say, and that goes against the holding call against USF Illinois. That'll move the ball back to the Saint side of midfield. They'll spot it at the 44-yard line. So it becomes first down and 20. But Butkus back in there after he went out in the first quarter with the leg injury. Keegan James didn't play badly though.
Right. Couple of procedure penalties, but that's to be expected.
Here's Butkus, read option, hands it off, straight ahead carry, not much there. They get maybe a yard to the 45, that's about it.
It's tough on those screens, Joe, because again, when your quarterback like Ryan Johnson was up in press coverage and you're a receiver out there and he's already on you and engaged, it's very difficult for that receiver not to hold the cornerback.
Gain of 1, second and 19. Ball at the 45-yard line. Butkus out of the shotgun formation once again. 2 wide either side of the field. Blitz coming, defensive right side. That's picked up. Here's a throw to the corner, and the ball is going to be caught that time. Nice adjustment by Petrozak. Ball kind of hung up, but he goes 6'4", and there's one of those wide receivers making an impact.
Yeah, the ball was actually hung up on him. He had to go back for it a little bit, and he gave Johnson that time a little push forward and stopped. The ball was there, but Johnson came back and planted him.
12:33 remaining in the first half. Improving field position now. And Butkus wants to throw again. Loads up, throws to the left corner. He's got a man out there, and that ball is caught, out of bounds. Yeah. I tell you, there was a big push-off as well. That was Rajon Williams, who goes 6'2". Got away with the push-off, I thought.
No, I agree. I'm with you there. Trying to create some separation so he can catch the ball. And it was thrown out of bounds, so good catch, but he did get away with a push.
Stan Jackson's got the cover. By the way, that's Brandon Ruffin, 80 rather than 86, so Ruffin was the intended receiver. That is the primary target for Don Butkus. On second down and 10, again, Cougars show blitz. They want to throw the ball left side, and there's a catch at the 10-yard line. And they'll be knocking on the door. Ray below on the catch, so Butkus dialing up again. Remember, he threw for 520 yards 2 weeks ago, and he is a bona fide threat.
Beautiful deep slant that time. They bit on the play action and sucked up, and then the lane was open.
First and goal at the 9-yard line. Now motion by Jackson. They give the ball to him on the sweep to the short side and got to the 5 at least. Knocked out of bounds. Butkus a year ago threw for over 2,000 yards, 18 touchdowns. He was picked off 10 times and averaged over 185 yards a ball game a season ago as a junior. Second down and goal from the 4. Now they flip-flop below to the right side. 2 wide either side of the field. And here is, they want to run the ball and nothing, well, nearly Helmergarn got a hold of the running back that time and knocked him down at the 5-yard line. So it slowed him up till he got some help from his friends.
Yeah, Harnish came in to clean that play up, and they might forward progress, give him a yard, maybe half a yard. But
did you get a chance to see Helmergarn at field level? 6'5", 320. He's even bigger than last year.
Yeah, he blocked out the sun when he walked by.
Third down and goal from the 4-yard line. Johnson stays in as the running back. You got to believe, though, that Butkus wants to throw to the right corner. He's got a man out there, and the ball is caught. Is it going to be a touchdown? Waiting. I don't see any indication.
No signal yet.
Yeah, it is a touchdown.
Yeah, they're celebrating, so it must be.
Peterzak was the intended receiver, and the 6'4" junior went up and got it. Didn't see an indication from anybody.
Boy, that drive, they really picked on Ryan Johnson, and it was man coverage and successful.
So Butkus to Peterzak. Now they're going to run for 2. Here's a sweep coming up to the right side. They won't get it. Or did they? Second effort?
No,
the Cougars do stop it.
No, Harnish came in and put a shoulder into the kid and knocked him into next Thursday.
So the try for 2 fails. It is a 20-9 ball game. Cougar lead is chopped to 11, but we have a timeout here at Darcy Stadium. 20-9, St. Francis of Indiana on top. Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Stay connected with Redeemer Radio. On the new Redeemer Radio smartphone app, you can sign up for notifications to stay informed with the latest news and programming updates. You can receive alerts for our special broadcasts, The Kyle Hyman Show, Redeemer Reflections, Odyssey Pilgrimage information, and more. Download the free Redeemer Radio app on your smartphone or tablet by searching Redeemer Radio in your Google Play or App Store. Brought to you in part by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union.
Cougar fans, the St. Felix Catholic Center in Huntington, Indiana offers one-day and overnight retreats with over 70 rooms. Be sure to visit Our Lady in her grotto and walk the 30 scenic acres. St. Felix is the former home of Blessed Solanus Casey. You can visit their website at sfcatholiccenter.com to schedule your next meeting or retreat.
Cougars with a lead cut to 11 now, 20-9 ball game. 11:03 remains until intermission. I don't know, Sean, I just get the idea somewhere along the line that Joe Curry's going to try some trickery, maybe go onside. Got a feel that he's got to try to steal possession, perhaps.
He's got to keep this offense off the field is what he's going to try and do, and I think you're right, Joe. If they have the wherewithal, they should try something like that.
Cougars were short a man. Ryan Johnson rotates out. Here's Green, runs up to the ball. He's got it at the 14, looking for running room to the short side. Can't find it. He's brought down at the 20-yard line. Looking for a block that never came. And so Nick Ferrer and the offensive unit will trot onto the field now with 10:58 remaining until intermission and try to get it going once again, trying to build on this 11-point edge.
79 yards to go here for the Cougars here, and it would be good if they can create some more separation here. They've got the wind at their back again during the second quarter here, so let's see if Ferrer takes to the air.
Connor Holcomb brings him up to the line of scrimmage here, ready to snap the ball to 6'4" senior quarterback, 230-pounder Nick Ferrer. Waits out of the pistol alignment now. Hands the ball off. Here's Green looking for running room and runs into a wall and brought down. There were two of them on him. At that time they're fired up. That was Cody Aranda that got through there first. One of the linebackers. That'll be a gain of 1. Other games going on today in the MSFA. Concordia at Trinity International. It's Marion. They're taking on Robert Morris. That's a big ball game. You remember Marion got beat here a week ago Thursday by St. Xavier. Lindenwood Belleville traveling to St. Ambrose will be at Davenport next this Saturday, and Siena Heights home to Olivet Nazarene. Olivet Nazarene's 2-0. Second down and 9. Ferrer from the right side hash mark looks and wants to hand it off, then throws the ball incomplete. That was Rixey intended, but there was double coverage on him. That ball was on a line, didn't have much air under it. Dangerous pass, and now it's third down and 9.
Again, good job by number 7 for the Fighting Saints there. Was able to get a paw, or is that number 1? I'm sorry, Joe. Moreno, yeah, number 1, the senior for the Fighting Saints. Doing a fine job getting a paw in there from a safety position.
Cougars trying to reach their own 31 on this snap. Last week they were 7 of 10 in third down situations against the Jimmies. Ferrer needs 9. Looking, throws over the middle. He's got a wide open catch. That's Rocky James. Curls upfield across the 40-50-yard line and finally all the way into Saints territory to the 45-yard line. Nice route run by Rocky James, and Nick Ferrer said it Thursday at the media luncheon. I think this young man's going to have a great year.
Oh, absolutely. That was about a 33-yard gainer into the Saints territory. James was able to find that spot deep into coverage, and they were even playing a prevent defense. They had 3 back, but he was able to find the zone, and he was picked apart.
You know, Sean, we didn't really talk about it, but last week the Cougars did not give up a sack, and I thought that was huge. Here we go, 1st and 10 at the Saints 45-yard line. Ferrer, short drop. Now the draw. They'll hand to Green. Green cuts to his right at the 40. 35, got a block, and nudges out of bounds around the 32, maybe the 31-yard line.
Great job being patient there, allowing his blocks to occur. And then, of course, he was following behind Nick Shoemaker, the right tackle, who was right out there in front of him. And they moved the chains.
Arthur King had the coverage on the near side, so it'll be 1st and 10. They'll spot it at the 32-yard line. Clock moving inside 9.5 minutes. Will Christman is in as a wide out to the left side. John Boswell up in the slot. Ferrer now, this time out of the shotgun formation. Looking now, the coverage drops off as Ferrer looks, throws, lows, right side. Gegner's got it at the 25, leaning down. Knee was down, and they still came in and put a little bit of pressure. Josh Woodard, but again, they're kind of playing on.
Oh, yeah.
Letting things go a little bit.
They are. That was very much a late whistle. So, again, a well-trained defender, if you don't hear the whistle, you come in and make the play. But his leg was clearly down. That's on the official there.
That's a gain of 7 by Gegner. Zach, one of those unheralded stories, really, that does so many things well. A little motion now by Casey Call, who's in there. They'll hand the green, cuts back, got to the 25, and it looked like he had a hole. There really wasn't one.
Right, a little counter that time, starting left and then moving back to the right. And the defense played it smart. They didn't get sucked in with the counter, and it was right there to make the stop for a short gain.
And that's where we talked about, Ferrer was talking about what he saw in film, that they're reactive, the defenders. So they kind of lull you into thinking you've got something there where maybe you don't. Does pick up a yard. It'll be 3rd down and a long 2. Empty backfield now for St. Francis as Ferrer, short drop, looks, stands in the pocket, now throws right side, and a one-handed catch, Gegner. Wow, Seth Coate lives.
Oh, good heavens. Crossing route there by Gegner coming across, and just when you thought the ball was going nowhere, his paw comes out, grabs it, a one-handed catch, going horizontal to get it, and then they move the chains again.
They'll mark it at the 14-yard line. My. What a
drive-saving catch right there.
Nate Carson now in wide to the right side. Gegner stays in. Now moves over a step or two in the slot right side. And Ferrer with 2 wide to the left. Looking, blitz being shown up the middle. Now Ferrer checking off. Play clock is down to 10. Here's the snap. Looks, throws the left side. It's got a man, and sliding catch for a touchdown.
Beautiful.
So the catch is made for the touchdown into the end zone. That was Duke Blackwell wearing number 10 now. So a 14-yard strike after the spectacular catch by Gegner to set it up. And Duke Blackwell on the receiving end of a Nick Ferrer touchdown pass.
Blackwell is a sophomore wideout, checking in at 5'9", 180 pounds out of New Pal, Indiana. And again, just a little seam pattern on the left side. Ferrer threw it down into the dirt, and he was able to go down and get it where nobody else could.
Gardner on to attempt the extra point now, waiting for the snap. Hold is good by Boswell. Kick is on the way, looks good and is good. So add 1 to the Cougar total, 27-9 with timeout on the field down below, and we'll be back with more of Cougar football right here on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
This is Bishop Kevin Rhodes, Bishop of Fort Wayne, South Bend, inviting you to join me this Wednesday at noon for a new episode of Truth and Charity. I'll talk about the upcoming Feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross, and then the sin of racism and how we can respond. Join me Wednesday at noon.
Truth and Charity with Bishop Rhodes is brought to you in part by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union.
Well, the Cougars build out to an 18-point lead. And, one of the keys, I think, Sean, that we've seen that, again, that offensive line giving Ferrer time.
No, you're precisely right, Joe. And really that drive, that 79-yard drive started back on their 21, all predicated on great protection for Ferrer, who was throwing the ball very, very well, opening holes for the draws and the traps. But, again, Rocky James and Gegner, boy, big drive for those two.
Jarrell Williams sets up. He had that long kick return last time he was back there of better than 50 yards. He's standing at the goal line. Now he wants his buddy Lexus Jackson. Said, come back here and join me a little closer to the goal line. This kid can kick it that far.
With the wind.
Here comes Gardner. Line drive knuckleball kick on the fly. That's fielded inside the 5. But Williams takes a look. Cuts to the 15, 20 down the right sidelines. Again he comes and all the way up to midfield and more. And somebody's got to make an adjustment out there.
Oh, we've got a flag, late flag as well. That might be
late hit.
Yeah, late hit. That very unnecessary by the Cougars, if in fact the call is on them.
I'm sure there's some frustration, but again, you obviously got some problem there on the left defensive side in the kick coverage unit. Tom Burns, our referee, will let us know.
Play, personal foul, 22 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Stan Jackson is whistled for that late hit. So that's going to tack on additional yardage, and Boy, Don Butkus is going to be sitting pretty inside the red zone. Let's see where they do mark that football.
Yeah, they haven't even started. Okay, now they have. Okay.
Well, they'll move it inside the 30, down inside the 25 to the 24, so they're not exactly in the red zone yet, but pretty darn close.
Wow. You can't let a team like this hang around.
Exactly. So Butkus, who was injured, back in there once again. And they'll look to hand it off. Here's a run to the right side, and not much there for Jordan Smith. He's going to lose real estate.
Yeah, tremendous penetration that time by the Cougar. Eric Dutton was in there, and along with James.
Wind kicking up again. That'll be a loss of 1. Second down, 11. Too wide to the left, to the short side as well for the Saints. And Butkus out of the shotgun, dropping the throw. Now steps up in the pocket, got away, and slides down. He had ability to run, but I think that leg injury maybe played a bit of a part. Slides down at the 26.
We always talk about alligator arms with the wide receivers, Joe. I think you got alligator legs there by the quarterback.
Did not want to take a hit.
No.
And loses another 2 yards, so it's third down and 12. They've got to get to the 14. Obviously, though, in 4-down yardage area. And Butkus barking out the signals once again. Drops the throw again. Loads up. Dances. Throws over the middle. Like tip. Ball incomplete. Cougars had Blake Schumacher back there and also Ryan Johnson as they were trying to go to Brandon Ruffin, and well understandable, but now it's fourth down and they'll try for 3.
Yeah, deep post that time allowed the free safety to come over and help, but great coverage that time by the cornerback. So he threw into double coverage trying to get his man number 80, Ruffin, but no chance there.
This will be a 44-yard field goal attempt. It'll be from the right side hash mark.
19, Grayson Barnett.
Against the wind.
He was 6 of 11 in field goals, had a long of 38 last year. This one from 43, block kick again. Ryan Johnson's got it on the return. Midfield, down the sidelines, inside the 30, inside the 20, and to the house goes Ryan Johnson with a blocked field goal and the return pick 6.
Absolutely stunning turn of events there for the Cougars. Tremendous job coming in from the right edge, was able to take the right angle and recover the ball and score 6. Johnson, boy, that play was his.
Sean, I'm going to say 63 yards just for the moment.
Sure.
That's not official. But what a special teams play. And the Cougars, who thought they were going to give up 3, nope, they add 6.
That was special.
Ryan Johnson interception last week, and this young man is starting to put together quite a season. Now Gardner with a right-footed kick, got the elevation on the way, and that is good. 34-9, what a turnaround with 5:47 remaining in the half. And we'll be back to Darcy Stadium. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Do you know that your car is worth more than the no thank you just got from a dealer? Turn nothing into something powerful by donating that vehicle to Redeemer Radio. All you need is the title and we'll take care of the rest. It's swift, safe, and simple, and you may qualify for a tax deduction. To learn how to donate your vehicle and help fuel Catholic programming on Redeemer Radio, go to RedeemerRadio.com and click on Donate My Car or call 1-866-628-CARS.
Well, we always talk about football and the strange twists and turns you can get, and you think you're going to be maybe looking at a 15-point lead. Instead, they're up by 25.
Boy, and they are shining bright today, the men in blue and silver. I don't know what's more impressive, the defensive backfield, which has really shut down Butkus and company, or, of course, Nick Ferrer in the offense. Both sides of the ball. It'll be interesting to talk to Coach Donnelly when he comes out of the tunnel after the halftime break to see, where he's at from the locker room perspective. But this has just been a tremendous home opener for St. Francis so far.
Well, you like the resiliency. You make some mistakes, take some dumb penalties, quite frankly, and then bounce back to make lemonade out of lemons. Now, can they contain on the kick return? Here comes Gardner and pooches it near side. He doesn't want any part of Jarrell Williams. But the kick is across the 30, or the return across the 30 to the 33, and that's a little bit of a moral victory.
Right. Again, you'll see he kicked it to the right instead of the left that time because, again, they clearly seen something, the coaching staff has, that they're weak on that side of the ball.
Mama didn't raise any fools. Right?
That's right. They got some work to do.
Fool me once, shame on me, or shame on them. Fool me twice, shame on me. But nonetheless, pretty good field position for the Saints at their own 35. 5:41 remains until intermission. 34-9, St. Francis out of Indiana. Butkus, short drop, looks back, weak side ball, knocked away. Good defensive hands, and stepping in there to knock that ball away. That was good play by
Matt Muncy.
Matt Muncy.
Yeah.
Remember Matt? I think it was Robert Morris had that game-saving tackle in the last play of the ball game.
Yes.
Yep. Doesn't always see a lot of action.
Very athletic move for a 6'1", 264-pound kid.
2nd down and 10. Shotgun formation again. They will hand the ball off, and Pearson Harnish pinched in. Had a hand on the tackle, but the gain is out across the 35 to the 37. That's a pickup of 3.
Michael Johnson on the carry.
Michael Johnson in there. They kind of split time with their 2 running backs, Jordan Smith and Michael Johnson. Johnson is the sophomore, 215 pounds, had 13 carries against Morningside for 25 yards. Now it's 3rd down and 7, trying to reach their own 45-yard line. Butkus flip-flops the protector to the right side. Now motion by Alexis Jackson. Wants to throw the screen, has got a catch, and the gain is to the 40. They won't get the 1st down. Lee Stewart came up with Spencer Coward and knocked down Michael Johnson before he could get to the 1st down stick.
Yeah, it looks like another 3 and out for the Saints as the punt team coming on. So, again, nice block there by Muncy, and then nice cover-up by the 2 DBs for the Cougars.
Now remember, 2 weeks ago, Sean, St. Francis was very effective in the first half, but never scored another point in the second half. Right now we have 4:30 remaining until intermission, 34-9. And Luke Nelson, the young man with a big leg, in there to punt the ball away. This time got it. A spiral kick. That's fielded. Fair catch by Boswell. Kind of looking into the sun. Sean didn't want to take a chance. Wanted to make sure, so he'll have it at about the 20-yard line. And Ferrer and company will check into the game once again on the offensive end.
Well, again, this last drive that they had on offense, this is exactly where they started, right in between the 20 and the 21. So let's see if they can duplicate their efforts and get another 6 points on the board and stretch that 34-9 lead. They are fun to watch, Joe.
Very creative, very diverse, and as we mentioned, the special teams have been a little bit of an adventure at times, but resilient is probably the best word I can think of. And let's see if Ryan Sonata now is checked into the backfield. I thought he ran really well last week. Best I've seen him in his 3rd year now. And he'll get the handoff. Looking, dances his way off tackle, left side. He's up to the 25 and trying to push the pile forward. He'll pick up about 4. Sonata last week, 10 carries, 70 yards, scored a touchdown. A year earlier, he had 26 carries in the national championship year for 86 yards.
We saw Sonata back in CYO play on this very same field. Then we saw him grow up and go to Bishop Dwenger, be an impact player for them, and now we see him wearing the silver and blue of St. Francis.
I got a better one for you right after this snap.
Okay.
That's a gain of 4, 2nd down and 6. Ferrer from the left side, hash mark now. Sonata stays in as the running back. They look to give it the ball, cuts back, but can't find a hole. And brought down right at the 25. You were talking about Ryan Sonata, seeing him on this field. My wife used to manage the Cougar Club chant back in the day, and Seth Coate used to run around as a little guy, and Katie used to kind of keep after him a little bit, you know.
Yeah, no mischief.
And he had a little bit of a career here, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Loss of 1, 3rd down. Ball squarely at the 25-yard line. Cougars trying to reach their own 31 on this snap. And Ferrer taking a look again. He's got 2 wide to the right. Wants to throw. Looking. Now throws back to the left and has got a catch in the breadbasket at the 37. Going up, that was Rocky James.
You cannot give Ferrer that much time in the pocket. He will pick you apart like a leg of chicken all day long.
I don't know what that... Sean Boswell and Arthur King were involved in a lengthy conversation I think it was all pleasant, but you never know.
You never
right?
know. Yeah, we're not on the field, so.
But they were walking back together for the longest way. You could see the heads kind of turn back and forth. Anyway, it'll be first down for St. Francis. 2:30 now left in the first half. And Gegner sets up a little motion off the left wing. Now comes back to the right side behind the line of scrimmage as Ferrer looks to hand. No, a play action fake, throws over the middle, and he's got a catch. And Boswell's dancing, regains his balance inside the 40 and carries down to the 36-yard line.
Look at how tough he is. He take a shot in the back, and the defender thought that would be enough to knock him down because he's 5'9", 185. Boswell's tough. He's tough as nails. He took that shot, puts his paw on the ground, regains his balance, and gets another 8 yards on the yards after the catch.
Sean, I didn't think he got a real good spot of that ball. He stumbled forward, but they spotted at the 39. It is good for a first down. Again, Ferrer from the left side hash mark now, too wide to the right. And looks and screens the ball near side. And there is a screen and a block set for Boswell as Dan Rixey now got involved.
Oh boy.
Against Arthur King. And now I go back to that previous conversation. That wasn't pleasant, I guess, with Boswell and King who's getting his emotions involved.
I think you're right. But how about that pass? Oh, yeah. They're not giving up. That pass from Ferrer, again, with a little flare screen to Boswell. He actually threw it right in front of Boswell so that he could catch the ball and be running forward at the same time instead of catching, turning, and running. So, again, gave him that extra 2 steps to get down the field even that much faster.
Now, Sean, just a footnote here. I think this is where the officials have got to step in and talk to that young man. You know, maintain control. It'll be second down and 3. Here is Sonata. Cuts to his left, cuts back to the right, fights his way close to the 30. They're going to say he was down at the 31. That's short of the first down stick. It'll leave about 2 yards yet to go. And 91 seconds remaining in this first half. Both teams have their full complement of 3 timeouts. Hurry up offense now for Ferrer. Looks again to Sonata. Cuts to his right, leans inside the 30, carrying the pile down. He'll have a first down at about the 27.
Sonata very patient back there. Started right, cuts back left through the middle, and moves the chains.
Strong young man he was carrying. And by the way, there will be a timeout, I believe, called by St. Francis, so a stoppage on the field down below. 34-9 is our score. St. Francis ranked number 1 on top. Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
With 3 locations to serve you: New Haven, DuPont Road, and Angola. Remember, it's not just jewelry, it's Peter Franklin.
Started today about 62 degrees at kickoff. The wind has been a little bit more of a factor up above than it has been at field level. Hasn't really seemed to bother the passes all that much, Sean.
No, I agree with you, Joe. The long passes maybe have hung up just a little bit, but the Cougars are sniffing the end zone.
1:16 on the clock as Ferrer gets ready to guide the offense now, and he's got 3 wide to his left. The lone wide right is Dan Rixey. Sonata stays in as the running back. Short drop. Here's throw, and he's got a catch made and close. And the ball fumbled away. Let's see how they rule it. They rule it a touchdown.
So
it was Sean Boswell.
It is Boswell. So, yeah, just to recap there, again, that seam route on the left side. He curls into the end zone. Ball perfectly placed. He takes a shot, and the ball is separated from him when he hits the ground.
27 yards on the scoring strike. I was looking to see if Joe Curry might come out to question that, because you do have to maintain control through to the ground on the catch. And I guess Boswell did that basically until the ball squirted free. Now Gardner on with the extra point. Booming kick on the way and good. And suddenly the Cougars have 41 first half points. Wow. 41-9 with a timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Are you suffering from chronic pain, had a knee replacement, an athlete injured in a game, or you tweaked your back perfecting a golf swing? Choose Indiana Physical Therapy for all your needs. IPT is a cost-effective provider that accepts all insurance plans. We offer the highest credentialed staff in the area, and we're open 7 to 7 to see you the same day you call. Find 17 Indiana Physical Therapy locations near you, and we'll get you back to work, play, and life. Celebrating 29 years, Indiana Physical Therapy. Call 260-209-2464 or visit indianapt.com.
And how about Nick Ferrer with 4 first-half touchdown passes?
That makes 28 games in a row now, Joe. of 2 or more passes in this kid's career. Just very, very impressive. Cougar fans, just a reminder that this broadcast is brought to you by Bishop Luers High School, a Catholic educational community that instills in each student dignity, integrity, respect, and responsibility. Catch the Luers spirit at www.bishopluers.org.
Well, Jarrell Williams, who's had a couple of nice kick returns back there deep again, along with Lexus Jackson. Jackson last week or 2 weeks ago had a 19-yard. And here's the pooch kick again near side. That's an open territory free ball, and the Cougars may have it. Let's see a scramble for it. Let's see how they're going to rule it at the 35-yard line. And St. Francis has got the ball.
Wow. There he is, comes out from underneath. Oh, now we've got a late flag again.
Stan Jackson came up with a ball. So let's hold on here with 1:06 on the clock.
That was a late flag as the players were getting up off the turf and going back to their respective sidelines. I think you're right, Joe. The officials are going to have to talk to these kids about their mouths. I mean, you play football with your body, not your mouth. And this one looks to be going against the Cougars.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on blue, the kicking team. Number 8. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
Well, that's Sean Roche, I believe. So I don't know what that was all about. But that will move the ball back on the Cougar side. Well, right at midfield is where they set the ball down. But 1:06 remains. And another scoring opportunity for St. Francis of Indiana. Their lead is 32 points, just like that.
Short field with a minute to go. If anybody can do it, it's the Cougar offense.
Gegner and Rixey are sent wide to the right. Boswell in the slot to the left side. And here's Ferrer wanting to throw again. Looking, loads up, throws right side. Rixey high, left his feet, grabbed the ball, has got a catch around the 30. And the officials came in there right away. Is that, again, there was a little bit of, shall we say, contact. Antonio Jameson got locked up a little bit on the Cougar sidelines. It'll be a first down. The clock is stopped just shy of 1 minute remaining at the 31. Cougars huddle up now, and Boswell splits to his left side. Up in the slot, wide of him to the left will be Rocky James, who's had a couple of touchdown catches already today. Ferrer sets his team down, looking to throw again. Steps up, throws over the middle. He's got a catch in traffic inside the 20-yard line. That's Rixey, a little curling pattern run. And the Cougars with 51.6 seconds remaining. Clock is stopped while they move the chains. It runs again, and there's a spike ball to kill the clock with it's still running. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be home field advantage when you've got the block.
You know he's going to spike it, so yeah.
I think Zegner came in to Tom Burns, the referee, said, did you notice the clock still running, sir? They are going to leave it 45.9 on the clock. That's still enough, but it'll be second down and 10. Same set with Boswell and James wide to the left. Rixey to the right side. He's got single coverage out here. And here is Ferrer looking to take the snap now, trying to stick it into the end zone if he can. Quick pass, Rixey with the catch. Little square out pattern, run at the 10. And St. Francis, right now the Cougars content to take what that Saints defense yields.
Yeah, and again, chip away. If I can get 5 or 6 yards with a little flare or an out pattern, and maybe they go to a slant this time now that they're inside the 10. Yeah, they can just ping pong right down into the end zone here.
Now James is going to check out of the ball game, and Will Christman comes in. He's tight to the left. So the Cougars go into their goal line offense with Rixey, the lone wide to the right to the short side. 41.1 seconds remains in the half. Now a motion to Gegner to the right. They'll hand the ball off. Here's Green. Green cutting up the middle, fighting to get to the 5. Cougars still with 2 timeouts remaining. Let's see if they're going to take one right here.
They did stop the clock. And yes,
they have 1 remaining. We'll keep things right here.
We'll bring up second down and goal.
And decisions as Kevin Donnelly out on the field. We'll talk to his offensive unit. But it's been very crisp execution today.
It surely has. Whether it's on the ground or in the air, clearly the aerial attack is much more exciting and opulent. But again, the offensive line, Joe, just doing really a spectacular job on both fronts, whether it's opening holes or giving protection to Ferrer. We talked about it numerous times. You cannot give Ferrer that much time in the pocket, and he has enjoyed a long-standing pocket on multiple drives. So hats off to the offensive line today.
Well, he's had the opportunity to just run completely down the checklist of progressions and checking all options that he's got at his command and option. Now Rocky James will come back in. Blackwell's got a touchdown catch. He'll set up in the left slot. Yes. Justin Green is in there as the running back as well, and Chrisman wide to the right at 6'6". It'll be 1st and goal at the 6-yard line. 35.9 seconds remain. 1 timeout remaining. Ferrer waiting for the snap again. Short drop, throws the lob to the right side for Chrisman's. Got it on the fingertips. No, they really did not get a foot in bounds. Wow. I'd like to see that on replay.
Yeah,
we don't have it.
No, we surely don't. There's no Jumbotron here or anything like that to get the fans fired up either.
Did that remind you, though, of Seth Coate?
Oh, sure. You bet. Number 11 stretching for the ball in the corner of the end zone.
It's like deja vu.
All over again.
Wow. So same set with Chrisman again. Wide to the right. By the way, it's a freshman, James Stovall, at 6 feet that's got the coverage. He comes up in press coverage. But now Ferrer out of the gun once again. Looks motion. Rocky James, little flip pass, and he's looking in traffic, cuts up. He won't get in. Got down to about back to the line of scrimmage, and Ferrer took a little bit of a hit.
They saw that coming. I think they were formation there because, again, the Fighting Saints, they were in the backfield, and St. Francis runs that little interior flip, what they call a little interior shovel jet sweep. But the Saints have seen it, and they knew it was coming.
Do you know last week that I think Jamestown was not familiar with that kind of play? They ruled it a run.
Really?
It's actually a pass.
Sure, yeah.
But the official stats, I know, still reflected it as a run. But it'll be 3rd down and goal with the ball now back at the 8-yard line. So the Cougars with 25.1 seconds remaining until the intermission, out of timeouts. And we'll see what Kevin Donnelly comes up with now.
During our halftime break, when we get the stats from Bill, I really want to look at the distribution from Ferrer to all of his receivers. I'm very interested to see because he does such a great job. For one, he's got plenty of time to do it. And then, 2, his receivers find a way to get open, and he is very generous with that ball.
A week ago, the Cougars used 3 quarterbacks, and they had 10 ball catchers in the ball game that had at least 1 pass reception. So it will be 3rd down and goal from the 8-yard line. A little motion left to right. Here's Ferrer looking, now flushed out of the pocket. Throws back left side, got a wide open sliding catch, and that will be a touchdown. That was Rocky James again, I believe. It is out there. So officially an 8-yard touchdown. I hesitated, Sean, because he slid down.
Right.
And I wasn't sure they're going to rule him getting at least 1 foot in bounds.
Yeah. No, yeah, he was right there at the paint and had to go down to get it. But again, he curled to the outside, which created that separation. When Ferrer was flaring out in the backfield to his left, he finally found him and gunned it right to him.
5 touchdown passes in the half by Ferrer. And Gardner looking for the 48th point of the first half on the way, and good. And Kevin Donnelly, and make no mistake about that, this is a very good football team. They're playing today against USF Joliet. But St. Francis has found a way, and I can't believe it's just week 2 looking at how this team executes.
Oh, yeah. No, this is mid to late season form right here. This is highly impressive on both sides of the ball. Again, so this team, again, the Saints had Morningside down 2 scores in the first half. And Morningside, as Coach said, best team they played last year. So how the St. Francis Cougars are taking care of the Saints so far on both sides of the ball, highly impressive.
39-point advantage for St. Francis with just 19 seconds remaining. And they will kick away once again. And I would expect nothing going to Jarrell Williams.
The high pooch.
Well, it's funny how sometimes it takes a little while for the memo to reach home, right?
Yeah, but again, that high pooch kick resulted in another score right there for St. Francis. So if, in fact, they can do it again, sure, why not?
Cougars with 28 unanswered points now. And it's a 48-9 lead. So winding out the few scant seconds remaining yet in this first half. We have just one back deep in the end zone. Alexis Jackson has actually come up to the 15-yard line, but Jarrell Williams standing back at the goal line. They do push the ball up again near side. Jackson runs up, got it at the 25, 30, across the 35-yard line, bumped out of bounds here on the near sidelines, and 13 seconds remain. And you might expect maybe Don Butkus just to take a knee at this situation, or will he take a shot?
Well, again, 48-9 with the score. Really depends on coach's prerogative at this point. If he just wants this to get over and reset his team, he's going to take a knee and run into the locker room.
On their own 38-yard line.
So spotted at the 38.
The 26 is way back here. Is he in punt form? What?
No, he's the safety.
Okay, gotcha.
Just in case anything funky happens.
Okay, so it is a victory formation.
Yep,
here.
exactly. Yeah. They're just going to take a knee and start the bus up. And that will do that. So the final seconds will run out here in the first half. And what a first half it was. We were impressed last week in the season opener on the road, 55 points, 55 unanswered before it ended up 55-7. And the crowd on their feet, they are saluting something special they've seen here today at home in this home opener as St. Francis leads a very good USF Illinois team 48-9 here at halftime. Let's take a timeout and we'll be on to our halftime presentation as you're listening to Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Hi, this is Drew Mariani, heard right here on Redeemer Radio, weekdays from 3 to 4 p.m. As you know, I tackle the hottest issues of the day, offering a unique Catholic perspective and helping you to better understand and navigate the most important issues of our time. I want to thank you for listening and supporting Catholic programming like the Drew Mariani Show. Please prayerfully consider supporting the important work of Redeemer Radio. Once again, thanks for listening, and may God bless you.
It's the Halftime Report with scores, stats, and insights. Here's Joe and the sports team.
Big lead for number one ranked University of St. Francis Cougars here at home as we get prepared to be entertained at halftime by the marching Cougar marching band. But 48 first half points, and let's take a look at the line score of the ball game. 14 for St. Francis of Indiana in the first quarter, lead it by 11 at the end of the first quarter, and then 34 points put on the board in the second quarter as St. Francis of Illinois had the field goal in the first quarter and added a touchdown, just only that missed extra point as they actually tried for 2 points. Let's take a look at the individual scoring, as it was USF Illinois that won the toss to defer. That meant St. Francis was going to get the ball to begin, and they turned a possession that started at the 10-yard line into a 90-yard drive, capped by Justin Green walking into the end zone from 2 yards out of the 9:46 mark. Gavin Gardner added the extra point, an early 7-0 lead. But then after Ferrer fumbled the snap, it was recovered at the Cougar 22-yard line, and that ended up in culminating in points on the board by Grayson Barnett, hitting a 27-yard field goal at the 2:56 mark. And the Saints manufactured points on the board. They were in the ball game, trailing at just 7-3. But Ferrer with the first of 5 touchdown passes in the half, 33 yards to Rocky James. Wide open Rocky James in the left corner with 96 seconds remaining in the quarter. Gardner with the extra point to make it 14-3. Moving on then to the second quarter, it was a lot of Ferrer. First at 13:47. And by the way, set up by a block kick that was recovered at the Saints 15-yard line. That set up a 6-yard touchdown pass to Rocky James, his second of the day at the 13:47 mark. Extra point kick was blocked, 20-3 Cougars. Then Butkus found Peter Zach open in the end zone from 4 yards out with a nice catch of a ball that was delivered to the right end zone corner. And Peter Zach able to go up and get a foot in bounds at the 11:03 mark. They tried for 2. That was no good. It was 20-9. Then a series of points on the board by USF of Indiana. Ferrer to Blackwell, good for 14 yards at the 7-12 mark. Then we had the blocked field goal attempt by Ryan Johnson. He was not done. He would pick up the ball and roam some 63 yards for the return touchdown at the 5:47 mark. Suddenly it was a lead of 25 points at 34-9. Then Ferrer to Boswell on a sliding catch into the end zone. Good for 27 yards at the 1:10 mark, and they would get one more chance, and that would be Rocky James with a sliding catch in the end zone. Good for 8 yards and the touchdown with 19 seconds remaining. And Gardner with the string of extra point conversions. That's where we are now, Sean, at halftime at 48-9. And just about everything offensively you could ask for from a head coach. Now, Kevin will find some things that he wants to work on. I've never met a head coach who didn't see that gray lining in the sunshine that's out there.
Well, you're right. That's precise. If we're this good now, how better can we be? Of course, that is the coach's mantra, and that's what they always look for, is continuous improvement, not only in execution but also in possibly play calling. And then scheming against, a stout opponent. So, yeah, coaches always find a way, to pick apart not only the bad but also the good.
And as far as the bad, there were some dumb penalties, quite frankly.
I agree.
Letting loose of your emotions on occasion.
You're darn right. And really, what's troubling about that is typically, in my experience, in calling a lot of these games, not nearly what you have, Joe, but you find those emotions coming to the surface in two ways, but typically it's in those close games, where tensions are high and there's still a fight and whatnot. But here, I don't want to call it academic, but 48-9 in the first half. There should be no real cause for something like that.
The other side of that coin is and again, I'm not trying to put words in the mouth of any of the USF Illinois players, but when you have the expectation that we played really well 2 weeks ago against the number 5 team, yeah, we got beat 41-24. We think we can do better. And when you come out and you see it, just the wheels falling out, and you're suddenly down by 39 points here at halftime, the expectations just aren't materializing, and that is very frustrating. And sometimes you can let that frustration get the better part of you.
You're precisely right. So for the St. Francis, Saints, that is, I don't want to say understandable, but it does happen more. When you're in the basement and there's no light and you can't find your way, then yeah, those frustrations bubble up very quickly. For the Cougars, you got no reason. I mean, you're playing a great ball game, okay? So your mouth should not be open at that point. So don't engage, play the game, let your body do the talking, and let the skills shine, and let those frustrations reside on the other side of the ball.
We are at halftime, and St. Francis ranked number 1 off that defending national championship victory last December down at Daytona Beach. You wouldn't want to be down there today at Daytona Beach. No. Yeah. Florida, not the place to be, but St. Francis in Indiana is the place to be. Sun-swept game at Darcy Stadium. Couldn't ask for better weather. Not a cloud in the sky that we see. Just a little bit of wind, and even that seems to have died down at least somewhat right now. But halftime, 48-9 is a score. Hopefully we're going to get some official numbers here that we look at, and I gotta believe they're going to be spectacular. Ferrer with 5 touchdown passes in this first half already. Let's take this 60-second timeout. We'll be back with more of our halftime coverage here in Fort Wayne. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Finish the season strong at Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. For the rest of the summer, receive 0% financing for 72 months or 0.9% for 84 months on a selection of 2017 models. Or get $1,000 in bonus cash towards a new Ram 1500 Crew Cab, $1,500 trade-in bonus cash on a 2017 Chrysler 300S, and $1,000 in bonus money on a new Jeep Patriot. Hit the road in the 2017 Chrysler Pacifica Touring with up to $8,000 off, or drive away for $329 a month. Pick up the kids in a new Grand Caravan SXT for $319 a month. Or put the windows down and burn rubber in a Challenger RT for only $299 a month. And yes, you can still get 0% financing for 72 months or 0.9% for 84 months on selected models. Summer ain't over until we say it's over at Glenbrook Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram under the giant American flag on Coliseum and online at glenbrookdodge.com. As American as it gets.
48-9 our score here at halftime. The Cougars of St. Francis and the silver and blue on top. Let's take a quick look at some of the other games going on elsewhere today. Concordia of Michigan, they're on the road at Trinity International in a crossover game in the MSFA. Marion home today. They take on Robert Morris. That'll be a game, Sean, that a lot of people are keeping a watch on because Marion, as we mentioned a week ago, Thursday, lost at home to St. Xavier. Robert Morris, we know, they come to play. Doesn't matter that they don't always come in on top, but they battle. They had a great game against St. Francis here last year, and we talked about it earlier. Matt Muncy had to make a game-saving tackle on the very final play of the ball game.
Yeah, the thing about those guys is they don't care who you are. They don't care what your record is. They show up on the field, and you better play a complete game, or else you're going to walk out missing some tail feathers.
Other games going on elsewhere. Lindenwood Belleville, they're on the road today to St. Ambrose. Now, we'll be at Davenport, Iowa. Going to be a long Friday night, my friend. After the high school game, the long drive, and then into St. Ambrose. It'll be the Cougars against the Fighting Bees. That's next Saturday. By the way, that's a 1:45 Fort Wayne time pregame show on Redeemer Radio. Hope you can join us. And the other games today, Siena Heights, they're home to Olivet Nazarene. Tigers might be one of the big surprises, already 2-0 in the MSFA over in the West. And how about St. Xavier? They're on the road today at Missouri Baptist. St. Xavier with that, I'm going to call it an upset victory over Marion. But who knows? We'll see the Cougar. There'll be an all-Cougar. You know, we've got all St. Francis today. In a few weeks, we'll have an all-Cougar matchup here in Fort Wayne. And by the way, Taylor is idle today.
Yeah, the Cougars are back against St. X on September 23rd is the next home game here for the University of St. Francis. And listeners, if you haven't been out to see a game, you've got to watch this offense work. If you love football from an offensive perspective, you're not a Jim Mora guy that loves a 3-0 game, you've got to come out here to Bishop Darcy Stadium and watch these kids play. It is electric to see them on the field.
Well, you're kind of talking about it, Sean, because, yeah, it's 48-9 right now and still half a game to play. And then on to St. Ambrose. Bees always tough, especially at home. We've been there a couple of times in the 20-year history of Cougar football. And then big games coming up at Marion, home against St. Xavier. Obviously some titanic matchups historically between the SXU Cougars. Remember that first ball game against that St. Francis ever played. It was back in, I think, the 98 season, and the Cougars just ran all over St. Xavier and scored, I think it was 60-some points a ball game. We thought, wow, this isn't going to be – well, we only won 2 games that first year, both on the road. And St. Xavier obviously very much improved after that and very competitive. So it'll be interesting to go to Chicago in a few weeks, or I should say come back here to Fort Wayne against the team from Chicago, the Cougars, in that matchup. What do you got as far as numbers?
Yeah, we just got the numbers fresh, hot off the printer here, so let's run it down for your University of St. Francis Cougars. On the ground so far, Justin Green, the big ball carrier, 14 carries this time, 71 positive yards, 11 yards lost, so a net of 60 with 1 touchdown, a 25-yard long run that time for Justin Green. And Ryan Sonata from Bishop Dwenger High School, 4 carries for 9 yards. We saw him late in the second quarter as a feature back there. 2, 3, 7 total receivers so far. Rocky James, the feature receiver here, has 7 catches for 111 yards and 3 scores in that big 33-yard reception.
We did it by focusing all our attention on you, the patient, by involving doctors and nurses in the design process, by creating quieter, more private spaces, and by leading the region in heart, stroke, and trauma care. This is not your typical emergency room. It's Parkview. In an emergency, isn't this where you'd rather be?
Parkview, your partner in health.
Friday Night Lights. Fort Wayne football from the comfort of your own home, or when you're on the go. The same night the pigskin touches the end zone, or is stopped dead in its tracks. 10 teams, 5 games, 1 website, SummitCitySports.com. Live stream high school games, score updates, and news hub for all Fort Wayne area athletics. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and SummitCitySports.com.
One average of a 53.4 yards and a touchback. So under all-purpose yards, Rocky James has 111. Justin Green, run and catch and kick return for 82 yards. Sean Boswell has 70 yards, and Dan Rixey 59 yards for all-purpose yards. Now the story changes quite a bit when we talk about the other University of St. Francis here. On the ground, Lexus Jackson, 2 for 13 yards. Michael Johnson, 4 touches for 6 yards. Don Butkus, 3 times he ran the ball, a gain of 6, loss of 2, so that is a net of 4 yards for Butkus. Jordan Smith had a run for 3 yards. Keegan James, the backup quarterback, had 3 carries for 1 yard. For the team, and we're going to check that number right here. Let's talk about totals on the ground for the St. Francis Fighting Saints. 15 carries, 30 yards, as a total with a loss of 6, so 24 yards on the ground here for the USF Fighting Saints. Let's go to the air. Don Butkus, 6 for 11 for 66 yards and a touchdown. Keegan James, 2 for 3 for 15 yards. All said and done, 8 for 14 with 81 yards total passing offense for the University of St. Francis Fighting, I want to say Irish, but they're the Saints. So yeah, receivers, let's talk about that. We've got Velo with 3 catches for 28 yards. Pietzek with 2 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown. Michael Johnson had 2 catches for 10, and Jalen Moore had a catch for 10. Again, 81 yards through the air for University of St. Francis, Illinois, and 24 yards through the ground for the Saints.
Sean, I know you got to get ready to go down and visit with Coach. So we'll take a 1-minute timeout. We'll be back with more here of our halftime presentation. 48-9. USF out of Indiana on top, and this is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
For Harley-Davidson, Honda, and Kawasaki, there's no place like the Ellerding family of dealerships in New Haven. Now in our 52nd year, over 300 new and used motorcycles, scooters, and ATVs.
I'll try to squeeze in one more. I don't know if I'll get it in before the start of the second half, but let's run the 3:30s here.
Okay, sure.
Okay, guy.
Terms and years. Visit Ellerding's River City Harley-Davidson and Ellerding's Honda Kawasaki Motorsports today, just off Coliseum Boulevard on State Road 930 in New Haven, plus our gear store in Glenbrook Mall by Sears. Welcome to our family.
Dear, do you have any cash? I owe Heather for lunch. Oh, and we need to send Jason money for textbooks.
Sound familiar? Now there's an easier way to pay with People Pay from First Federal Bank. It uses First Federal's mobile app to quickly and securely text or email cash and e-gift cards.
Oh, I still have to get a gift card for Dan's birthday. I think there's an ATM on the way.
Stop hunting for ATMs and start using People Pay. Check it out at first-fed.com/peoplepay. Member FDIC.
I have a special word for married men, since I'm one of you. Our wives and...
What you do for work matters. Finding the right job can be a challenge unless you have the help of a local job search partner that has strong relationships with area employers. We are Spherion Staffing, built on helping talented individuals find rewarding office, call center, light industrial, and professional opportunities. With Spherion, you'll have the immediate interest of top employers who trust their workforce needs to us. Discover the Spherion difference. Call us at 496-9900 or online at spherion.com.
Back at Darcy Stadium, I'm Joe Parson. Sean McBride making his way down to field level. He'll be checking in with Coach Kevin Donnelly here. He's got to be very happy with what he's seen of his team offensively in the first half.
We're ready, Joe.
And let's go down and check in with Sean.
All right, Coach Donnelly, beautiful first half. You're firing on all cylinders. Happy time in the locker room. Obviously room for improvement, but what's your assessment so far?
Well, we just got to keep playing 60 minutes. You know, you can't take your shoulder pads off. We got 30 minutes to go. So we're going to start this like it's 0-0. They got an explosive offense, and we don't want to get in a shooting match here.
Coach, I got to say, home opener here, beautiful day, but you're playing midseason form, it would appear.
We're playing well right now. We played hard a week ago. We're continuing that today. We eliminated some mistakes from last week. But we've got a good opponent, so we better play another 30 here.
There you go. Thanks so much, Coach. Take care. Joe, back up to you.
Okay, Sean down with the coach, and we're just about a minute away from kickoff. Remember that The Saints won the toss, deferred, and they'll get the ball to begin this second half. And kind of hoping to hit the screen here and see what we had as far as total yardage in the first half. We got a printout on the individual numbers, but so far I do not see any additional. We'll have to wait on that and see what we get. But some of the numbers that really jumped out: Nick Ferrer, 301 passing yards in the first half, 5 touchdowns, 22 of 27 through the air. Don Butkus, who threw for 520 2 weeks ago against Morningside, injured, did come back into the ball game. Finished up 6 of 11 through the air for 66 yards and 1 touchdown. His backup, Keegan James, 2 for 3 through the air for 15 yards. A little bit more of a effort to run the football today than the Saints showed 2 weeks ago against Morningside, as they had 8 carries for 81 yards on the ground in the first half compared to just 50 for the ball game 2 weeks ago against the 5th-ranked Mustangs. But the Cougars, who had 301 yards through the air, and then had Justin Green carrying for 14 times for 60 yards and a touchdown. And we will see how things shape up as we go. As Kevin Donnelly said, you got another 30 minutes to go, and football games are not won in the first 30 minutes of the contest. St. Francis, if they had one little difficulty, was on kick coverage, and they finally adjusted against Jarrell Williams, who was very effective returning, as Williams had 3 kickoff returns with a long of 57 and a total of 128 on kick returns. And he's back deep once again, waiting for the Cougar kickoff to start this second half. So we'll get ready here, strap in. And Sean, I was kind of taking a look, hoping we'd see on the screen some total offensive yards by St. Francis. All we've got is the individuals here in the first half, but we'll have to wait for those.
Yeah, it might come up on the screen a little bit later as we take a look at our monitor here, but that's all over the place sometimes anyway. So.
Cougars do kick deep. Jarrell Williams dropped it in the end zone. Now is going to try to run it out, and runs back to the left side, is in the end zone and got to the 1. So he avoids the safety, and big turnaround that time for Williams, who had a long of 57 and 3 nice long kickoff returns, but not that time to start the second half.
You have to wonder what happened there in the locker room when the kickoff team got together and said, okay, guys, we know what we need to do, and this is what we're going to do, and they came out and did it. And just when the Saints thought, okay, fresh set of downs, we're getting ready to go, now they've got a 99-yard track to try and score.
Can I give you a little bit of insight on those locker room talks at halftime?
Sure.
They're not anywhere the way you present it.
I try to paint a picture.
It is like when your father, has got you.
A little motivational
after you.
talk?
Yes, exactly. So out of the end zone, Butkus looking to hand the ball off, and they angle out with a run out to about the 2 or the 3 yard line. So conservative call, and especially you can understand that as the Saints trying to just give themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Well, in the locker room, for any of our listeners that hasn't been in there, I try to keep it as vanilla as possible, Joe. So.
You would need Bishop Rhodes. You would need a couple of other priests in there, and then immediately hearing confessions. Right. Here's a quick hitting play. The ball popped free. I tell you, it was great. As coming in there, that was Marcus Stepp that blew up the play, and they're going to mark that ball still at the 3 only. It'll be 3rd down and long still for the Saints. Yeah. So not the kind of start that Don Butkus was hoping, that he'd have a little better field position, instead starting at his own 1. He will take the snap 3 yards deep in the end zone. Waiting for it right here. And here comes the snap. Butkus wants to throw, looks near side, got a man out there, but overthrew Brandon Ruffin. And that's been kind of a story, because they have to have Brandon Ruffin involved offensively to have a chance.
Yeah, and again, his first half numbers were really not impressive so far, Joe. When we talk about that, Ruffin doesn't even have any numbers associated to him in the first half. So their number 1 receiver has been shut out.
Now Luke Nelson, he's looking at the official, Tom Burns, saying, where can I step? He is at the end line. So he needs a good snap here. Does have a big leg against the wind. Here comes the kick away, kind of a squib kick. It caught the wind. That's fielded at the 41. A return right side by Rixey, trying to pick his way down to close to the 26, maybe the 25. But USF obviously in golden territory to begin and leading at 48-9. And Nick Ferrer, if he does come out to start the second half, I would expect he will, and he does. He's going to have a marvelous field position at the Saints' 26-yard line.
Well, again, the St. Francis Cougar defense came out very strong, helped by that kickoff team at the 1-yard line. They stuffed the drive for a 3-and-out, and the offense set up, like you said, Joe, in really tremendous shape.
It'll be 1st and 10. Yeah, we talked about Arthur King, one of the cornerbacks of the Saints, and he's still jawing out there.
Yeah.
Not a happy camper today. Pistol alignment for Ferrer. Looks to hand the ball off to Green. Green does not find much. Got a yard only to the 25. Steve Smock was there. Had some. Also Roger Thigpen, who had 8 tackles 2 weeks ago against Morningside. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Second and 9.
Cougars trying to pick up that intensity. Now they've got Casey Call in. He's tight to the left side. Lined up just to the left of Alex Woods, the 6'6" senior at 265. Rixey in motion, right to left. Counter run coming up by Green. Green angles to his right, gets by 1, trying to cut up inside the hash mark. Got inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. Quick stepping that time by Justin Green.
Well, and a great job by the offensive line. As they took the man in motion to the left, they started to flow right, and that left a gap in the defense, and Green was able to exploit it. And it took the defensive back to come over to make the stop.
Those are the football just outside the Saints' 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. Let's call it a short 3. Rixey, the lone wide to the right, call up on the wing to the right side this time. And Green again looking for a hole. He's got it in the middle, holds onto the ball. That was kind of behind him on his hip, but swung it around and got to the 10-yard line.
Great job that time by right tackle Nick Shoemaker. Again, these last 2 plays, he's done a great job of eliminating the defensive end on that side from the play. Just having a very strong showing.
Dakota Dorr made perhaps the touchdown-saving tackle. It'll be 1st and goal, though, at the 10. Cougars with 48 points in the first half, trying to add to that total here on this first possession to begin the second half. And here is a stretch handoff, play action fake. Ferrer wants a throw, being pressured, throws to the corner, threw it away. Got rid of it. Has buried down on him, and Ferrer taps the helmet of Alex Zlomi out there. It's a nice play. Glad you didn't kill me.
Yeah, and he was on his way. He wanted to, but Ferrer wisely got rid of the ball just in time.
2nd down and goal at the 10-yard line. Again, one of those stats we didn't see. I was looking at the goal line situations as far as how St. Francis scored in the first half. But the number that stands out, 301 through the air by Ferrer in the first half. That's really remarkable. Now they look to Green again. Dances to his right, lowers the shoulder, hit to the 10, drives the pile down close to the 6. And they'll bring up a 3rd down call. So Saints kind of stingy right now this series.
Yeah, their defense is tightening up quite a bit here. The gaps that we saw earlier in the game don't seem to be there, as Green is having trouble picking his way through that offensive line.
3rd down and goal from the 6-yard line. Cougars break the huddle. Sean Boswell up in the slot, or kind of a wing back now, lined up behind Casey Call, who's tight to the left side. Green stays in to protect the running back. Motion now, Rixey, but here's Ferrer wanting to throw. Lob to the right corner, nobody home.
Wow, a little delayed blitz by the defense right there, right up the gut. Really pressured Ferrer as he had no protection in the backfield and just had to chuck the ball away.
That was Mason DeLong, a redshirt freshman linebacker, came through there. Now we're going to see Gavin Gardner to attempt his first field goal of the season. I remember Ryan Nix a year ago had that career-long 44-yard of the national championship ball game, and been just a history of great field goal kickers. Now, Kevin Downey does not always go with the field goals. That's kind of a last begrudgingly choice. This will be from 13 yards out, actually making a 23-yard field goal attempt. There's the hole. The kick is tailing off to the left, and it is no good.
Wow.
So the 23-yard missed field goal keeps it as a 48-9 ball game. And I tell you what, let's step out with a quick timeout here. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
What you do for work matters. Finding the right job can be a challenge unless you have the help of a local job search partner that has strong relationships with area employers. We are Spherion Staffing, built on helping talented individuals find rewarding office, call center, light industrial, and professional opportunities. With Spherion,
we still have a 60-second break.
Okay, we'll sneak that in here somewhere.
Okay.
The Spherion difference. Call us at 496-9900 or online at spherion.com.
Just a reminder, Cougar fans, that H&L Electric is your full-service electrical contractor. From the smallest to the largest of jobs, H&L Electric can handle it for you.
Butkus wanting to throw, being pressured, tip ball, incomplete. It was a crossing pattern out of the backfield intended for Michael Johnson. But again, they were coming in, and there's Butkus limping around once again.
I was following the ball, Joe. Did he take a shot?
I don't think so.
I don't think he did.
That was Himmelgarn. And I'd go down, too, if you see 6'5", 320 bearing down on you.
Right.
And I've got to believe that Kagan James is going to have to come into the ball game once again.
You know, and it's something, when you injure your leg like that, as he did previously, all it takes is a turn or a twist to re-flare that, especially if you're back on the field in the same game. So I don't know if he took a shot, but he's certainly getting helped off the field right now.
If you're just joining us, Don Butkus went down in the first quarter, and it really was a non-contact injury. He kind of slid down, but awkwardly came up limping, was replaced, and there comes Kagan James, the backup sophomore 6'1" quarterback, and he will operate now the offense for the Saints.
When he did this the first time, there was 2 illegal motion penalties against the Saints to begin with.
Shotgun formation for James. Looking, short drop, looking to throw. Looking, loads up, throws to the right side to slot, and that one, Blake Schumacher's got it on the pick. Schumacher jumped the route and jumped in front of Jean Petrazat, and the Cougars have got an interception, and they'll take over the football.
And unfortunately for James, he came in and he stared his receiver down, and of course the St. Francis Cougars on defense, they're not stupid. He knew exactly where that ball was going, was able to jump the route. He took a shot as he caught it, kind of a jump ball situation. But the Cougars came up with a huge interception.
Schumacher, nice job out of Carroll High School. 5'11" sophomore wrestled that football away. And USF will have it at the Saints' 39-yard line and looking for first blood in the second half.
Now, again, they had a short field to begin again, and they were not able to score the first time out.
Here's Ferrer looking, play action fake, wants to throw, looks to the corners, got a man out there on the fingertips, but incomplete. Unable to secure the football, and that was Rocky James looking for his 4th touchdown catch of the ball game.
2 inches shorter, Joe, and he would have had it literally 2 inches shorter. I think that is a TD, but it's all for naught.
Nate Carson now will come in, and James will get the breather. What do you got going?
Ferrer comes up with a little limp there. Again, following the ball, I don't know if he took a shot, but he is favoring one side right now.
Didn't see if there was a late hit on him or just a legal hit. 2nd down and 10, still at the 39-yard line. Ferrer checks left, checks right, now makes maybe changing the play call. Drops the throw again, and now there's a penalty flag. And you got to believe procedure against St. Francis, and that'll cost them 5.
Yeah.
Co-start, offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Jalen Gamble whistled for the procedure call, and that'll move the ball back now to the 44-yard line. And the Cougars, who were so crisp at executing in the first half, have sputtered a little bit here in the second half.
Yeah, again, their first opportunity was from a short field, and they were not able to convert the field goal, and now they've got another short field opportunity here with a penalty.
Trips package wide to the right. Now the wide side of the field for Ferrer. Short drop. Now the draw. He hands it off. There's Green dancing, weaving, bobbing, and cuts, spins off tackles, and all the way down to the 30-yard line. That is vintage Justin Green.
And a beautiful play call. Hats off to the offensive masterminds for the Cougars. That is a fantastic opportunity to freeze that defense, and they got all those yards back and more.
That'll leave them with a 3rd down and 1 call. They'll run the ball again. Green cuts up the middle, and did the ball pop free? Well, there was a late scramble for it.
There was.
Now one of the Cougars slow getting up, and that's Austin Smoger. But it looks like he's going to shake things off.
And that results in a Glenbrook goal.
So they'll move the chains, and St. Francis does have a first down as Will Crispin brings the play in from the bench. He'll be joined by Duke Blackwell, who did have a touchdown catch earlier. It'll be 1st and 10 at the Saints' 27-yard line. Cougars on the road again to the Quad Cities next Saturday afternoon. Here's Ferrer looking, stretch handoff. Green cuts up the middle, accelerates, and then got to the 20-yard line before being chopped down again. You know, we talked about it before, Sean. It looks like there's a huge hole there. And that late reaction by the Saints defense, suddenly they converge and shut things down. A nice gain, don't get me wrong, 6 yards, but not to the extent that your eyes told you we're there.
No, you're right, because again, when that play develops that stretch as they all flow to the left side, then he cuts back center, you're thinking, okay, he's got a 15-yarder on his hands, and it evaporates just that quickly.
Ryan Sonater now will check into the backfield for St. Francis. 2nd down and a long 3. Clock approaching 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Blitz coming from the left side, but here's Sonater, spun around at the 20 and falls forward down to about the 18.
Tackle on a play by 32, Roger Thigpen.
Thigpen on the stop, the 6', 210 sophomore linebacker. Ferrer during the media luncheon on Thursday, very complimentary about the linebackers of USF Joliet.
Yeah, they've got great ball pursuit. They surely do. That's been on display.
But again, they wait. They kind of react and wait to see what you're going to do. Motion to the right side. Here's Sonater. Off tackle and wrestled down again at about the 16. So nothing fancy right now, just smash mouth football. And the Cougars, do they have the first down? They do. So they'll move the chains with 8:33 remaining. And Green will come back in for Sonater into the backfield. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the Saints 16-yard line. Cougars had 55 points on the board last week, 55 unanswered before winning it 55-7. Touchdown now would equal that output. 3 wide to the left, including Casey Call. And here's Ferrer again with Green waiting, and he'll take the handoff. Off tackle, he's inside the 10 to the 5, and a touchdown. Justin Green saw the hole, and Sean just explored to pay dirt.
Just fantastic. A 16-yard run. That he makes it look so easy, Joe. He can do the misdirection. He can change positions on a dime, and he didn't have to do much there. Great job by the offensive line to create that opportunity.
So the interception by Blake Schumacher pays off, and the points on the board, the 16-yard touchdown run by Justin Green. He had 3 last week. He's got 2 today. He's got a little different mindset this year, doesn't he? During the regular season, he's been a guy historically that has played well in the playoffs. Now Gardner with the extra point. That's blocked at the line of scrimmage, picked up by one of the linemen, but that will do that. So it'll be 54-9 with a timeout here at Darcy Stadium. Tell you, let's take that 1-minute timeout. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
I have a special word for married men, since I'm one of you. Our wives and children need us, faults and all. We are irreplaceable. We're made to be noble knights. Never leave your family. You are needed. God made us men inherently warriors. Just watch young boys playing, how they will quite naturally turn sticks into pretend guns or swords. Let's channel the fight that is in us to love, sacrifice for, and protect our wives and children through thick and thin. It is before God that we made a vow when we became united in marriage with our wives. Let's keep it. Quote, so then, what God has united, man must not divide. Mark 10:9-10. I'm Jim Littleton, formingfaithfulfamilies.com.
Cougars with a 45-point bulge, and Sean, I've got to admit, I'm a little bit surprised at this. I think you expect a win, but this has been, at least offensively, total dominance so far.
Well, it has. I really think when the coaches look at it, what they're going to do to be upset with the short kicking game, and that's really about it.
Lexus Jackson at the 1, now works to the right side, got some running room across the 20-25. He's to the second level, to midfield once again, down the right sidelines, finally knocked out of bounds at the Cougar 35-yard line, and They started kicking deep again.
Yeah, they did. And
Saints made them pay.
Yeah, that's precisely right. This kicking game needs some improvement. So we've got a missed field goal. We've got a blocked PAT. And, of course, the kickoff team has given the Saints ample opportunity running it back deep into the St. Francis territory multiple times.
We do not see by the way, there was a player coming off the field slowly. That was Jack Givens on that far side and kind of shuffling along, limping a little bit coming off the field. We do not see the offensive unit out there yet for the Saints.
The officials are talking. He's going to the mic.
Receiving team, hitting the player out of bounds, spot foul, first down.
Okay. So that must have happened on the far side of the field.
Maybe that was what involved Givens. But anyway, it's a walk-off personal foul and all the way back into Saints territory. They had it at the USF 35, Sean.
Yeah.
But now, evidently, from the point of infraction, they'll take the ball back in a walk-off inside the 30. They're still walking it off inside the 25 to about the 21-yard line, I think, is where they're going to set it down, or at the 20.
Yeah, as they were separating, the flag was at the 34-yard line. So that is a huge penalty for the Saints there. Wow, that hurts.
And it will be James still out there at quarterback.
Where do they put this down, Joe? Is that the 19?
Yeah, they're going to put it at the 21, I believe. Well, no,
No. That's inside
you're right.
the 20. Yeah.
At the 19. I think the official stopped at a couple of yards short. And here is a run right side, and Pearson Harnish holding on, but a gain out across the 25 to the 26. Jordan Smith got the call. And James right now, that's a pickup of 6 yards. So looking again to play action pass on the quick slant. They've got a first down as the gain across the 35. Pearson Harnish, or did they separate the ball?
They're calling him down, actually.
Harnish came up like he thought, no, we knocked that ball away, but no, they're going to give him the first down, and they'll spot it up at the 37-yard line.
I don't like the call. 41, Wilmer Cole. I think that should be an incomplete pass, if anything. I think he was separated from the ball, but I'm not an official.
I remember we kind of got a touchdown, too, the other way. There was movement. Encroachment's going to be the call. Free play. James throws over the middle, and there's a high ball incomplete. Schumacher was there with the coverage on Lexus Jackson, but it was a penalty flag as one of the guys up front leaned in. I'm not sure if it was Matt Swartz. Again, when you're 280, you make a mistake like that, you're going to be noticed.
It's hard to put the brakes on.
Yeah, a 5-yard walk-off against St. Francis of Indiana, so that'll take the ball to the 42, and it'll be first down and 5. Under 7 minutes remaining in this third quarter. Cougars have put one score on the board and lead it 54-9. Now the Saints just kind of standing around, not huddling up. I think they've got some problem with the Tom Burns field mic. And now they do wind the clock. So shotgun formation for Kagan James as he looks with 2 wide either side of the field. Play action fake, throws the ball in the quick slant, and they've gone to that play a couple of times now, and they've got the ball into Cougar territory to the 48.
Yeah, the slot receiver flies down the field, and of course the outside receiver then slants in as the zone is opened up, and he put it right on the money.
That was Zach Marino on the catch at the USF Cougar 47-yard line. Jordan Smith, they flip-flop him to the left side of James out of the shotgun formation. Same set, 2 wide either side. James, time of the pocket, steps up, now flush to his right, runs, and takes a big hit at the 40-yard line. Spencer Coward introducing himself.
Yeah, says hello. Good opportunity, for the quarterback to get some positive yards, but he did pay for it.
No question, paid the price. It's a gain of 7, though, and they'll spot it at the USF Cougar 40-yard line. Second down and short. James staying with that 2 wide receiver set either side and trying to run the ball. And they've got some distance that time for Jordan Smith as he had a bit of a hole, works inside the Cougar 35 down to about the 33-yard line.
Yeah, they're doing a good job up front of double-teaming Hemmelgarn and getting at least a gap in between the A and B there, so they're getting some positive yards. That one was good enough for a first down.
Matt Muncie in at defensive left end. Hemmelgarn on the nose as James, short drop, wants to throw again. Looks, throws over the middle. He's got a man out there. Intercepted Wilmer Cole. He's got it at the 10, 15. Looking and giving some ground. Going the wrong way, buddy. Pivots to the right side and is going to be brought down back at the 10. What was Wilmer Cole thinking?
He was trying to find a run back. He was looking for that 90-yard dash, and he might get a talking to for that one. He was running around dancing, going backwards, and if nothing was there, he should have just run forward as best he could.
Or just fall down.
Yes.
So USF gets it back on the turnover. They'll have it just inside their 11. But they could have had at least another 5 yards forward upfield.
And who was there but Coach Didier to talk to him?
Oh, yeah. Nice job. Don't do that again.
Well done. Stop it.
1st and 10. And now we're going to see Clay Cenarius checking into the ball game now with 5:07 remaining. Here in the third quarter, the Cougars run the ball across the 10 to about the 11. And, boy, there is some big hitting going on.
Yeah, Sonater ran into a wall that time.
Cody Randa, part of the group. And I'll tell you what, the Saints, they still have intensity and enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah, they've been chippy all day. I think they're in our camp that this is a shock to their system, and they don't like it, clearly. And so they've been chippy, and they're still on the field.
Blackwell and Chrisman, part of the trips package, wide to the left for Cenarius. Sonater, the running back, and here's the handoff. Run to the right side, only to the 12. Not much there. Again, pinching in there. Saints not interested in giving up much. Heard Randa's name mentioned once again, one of the linebackers, to get in there.
Yeah, Randa, number 36, checking in. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 207 pounds, but he's playing much bigger than that. Making his presence known in that fast-acting linebacker core for the Saints.
3rd down and long. St. Francis Cougars need to get out to their own 21 to keep possession. Cenarius from the right side hash mark now. They've been keeping the ball on the ground. Cenarius wants to throw the out pass, and a fingertip catch is made by Nate Carson, and he's got the little square out pad and ready. Taps Arthur King on the rear end and says, thank you, we'll move the chains.
Yeah, just a little up and out right there, and a very well thrown ball, as where only he could catch it. Got it right on the fingertips and tiptoed out of bounds.
Well, Cenarius last week in North Dakota was 2 for 4 through the air, 18 yards, but that did include a touchdown. 1st and 10 now. Cougars keep possession as the clock will move inside of 3.5 minutes, time remaining in the third quarter. Stretch handoff once again and a run to the right side, and we've got new numbers out there as I think that's Cody Conwell, senior running back out of Cherubusco, getting the call.
And that's going to be a flag as he was picked up and thrown out of bounds. This is probably going to be a penalty against the Saints.
Is that Arthur King out there? He's been...
by 14, League Thurman. Face mask. 14 on the defense. 1st down.
Well, it wasn't our buddy Arthur King, but it was going against Malik Thurman. And that'll be a walk-off, personal foul, automatic 1st down as they'll take the ball out across the 35-yard line. And they'll mark it up at the Cougar 38, 1st and 10. So new numbers coming in. Cenarius operating the second quarterback used by Kevin Donnelly today. A little play action fake. Cenarius throws looking for Carson down the right side. He's got the ball. Did he hold on? No.
Looks like he was actually pushed out of bounds too, as the field judge has thrown his hat back near the 30-yard line. So we would have to see what that result would have been, but unfortunately he was not able to hold on to the ball.
Pretty well delivered ball, though.
I like it.
By Cenarius.
Yeah, gave him a shot.
And not afraid to put it up going vertical. Cenarius, by the way, 6'4" sophomore, 206 pounds. So the Cougars blessed with a pair of quarterbacks, at least their top two. Ferrer at 6'4", now Cenarius also at 6'4". 2nd down and 10. kind of a tight formation, just one wide. Carson in motion. Here's the reverse coming up to the right side, and that'll be a gain across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Yet another running back in there. That's Eli Wallace. We saw him in the late going last week, and he played rather well. And again, a little bit of a scrum.
Well, the ball actually came loose, but I think it was whistled dead.
Yeah,
I think the carpet,
at the 41.
Yep.
John Doherty checking into the offensive line now. A lot of new numbers out there for the silver and blue.
At the Cougar 41-yard line, it'll be 3rd down and 7.
84 checking in for St. Francis. I want to say that's Cam Smith, but it's not. He graduated.
Dylan Hunley, I should say. Hunley, a freshman out of East Noble. Chrisman stays in. Blackwell up and flanked out to the left side. And here is Cenarius wanting to throw into the flats. Has got a catch. And a run nicely after the catch for the first down to midfield and a couple of yards deep into Saints territory. And boy, look at just the hitting going on well after the play is over. Blackwell with the catch. And again, the officials got to, go to the whistle and then it's done.
Right. Yeah. Blackwell did a great job after the catch. He actually backed up and allowed the defender to miss him, and then he was able to get 6 more yards out of the catch.
A lot of receivers, Sean, make that quick turn after the catch and just trying to buy a little time. It's at the 49-yard line now. And 1st and 10. Cenarius hands the ball off and trying to find a little bit of a hole. And big scrum. And the carry will be up to about the 45.
Ball carrier.
It's a good mix of plays again by this offense, staying balanced here in the second half of things. As the runs chew up the clock and the passes are ensuring the St. Francis Cougars stay on the field as they just methodically march down this field and get into St. Francis territory.
Hunley stays in as a wide out to the right. Yanni Cooper has checked into the game as well. 2nd down and 5 after that run of 5 yards. Cenarius is looking to hand the ball off again. There's Sonar, spins off one tackle, still on his feet, and ball, and he's up all the way. Well, the ball came free, but well after the play was over, he got to the 42, and now there are the penalty flags.
Yeah. Well, Cenarius was able to spin out of the first one and basically just run out of that second grab, lunge his way forward for a positive gain.
Kyle May was out there and just helped David Charno up of the Saints, so nice sportsmanship there. Charno, 270, a freshman. It took Kyle Mays both hands to help him up, by the way, a little footnote on that. But Tom Burns, our referee, with 58 seconds remaining here in the quarter, talking to his crew. There's going to be a penalty, and we'll see which way it goes. Cougars are backing up somewhat, but we'll see in a moment.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 22 on the defense. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game. Also, on the offense, number 72. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
Dakota Dorr.
These penalties all set.
And let's see for St. Francis. I think that's Landon Myers that offsetting penalties on the personal fouls. So it remains 3rd down and 3. Cenarius took the opportunity with the WWF calls coming up to check over to the sidelines. And here we go. Cooper wide to the left. He's the lone wide to the short side, 2 wide to the right. 30 seconds remaining. Cenarius wants to throw, steps up. Now it's going to run and looking for the first down stick. He's got it.
It's going to be close. I think you're right, though. He's got it, Joe, inside the 40, close to the 39. They should just wave this down.
31, Antonio Jameson.
And now they do move the sticks with 25.5 seconds remaining.
Now so Cenarius showing some mobility there.
Has to sit out a play for his help coming off for St. Francis Blue. Please put 25 seconds on the play clock.
I enjoyed that call, St. Francis Blue. St. Francis White. We told you, we guaranteed a St. Francis win here today. So that Sonater's got to check out of the ball game, lost his helmet. Head was still in it, though, Sean. That's the good news. So Ryan will be back. 1st and 10. Cougars with 8 seconds trying to get a play off here late in the quarter. They'll hand the ball off. There's a little bit of a hole in the middle. The gain is down inside the 35 to the 33-yard line on that nice run by Cody Conwell. You do need a program right now, folks,
yes.
let me tell you.
That's it. A lot of clean jerseys out there.
And that's going to do it at the end of the third quarter. 54-9, USF Cougars on top here at home against St. Francis out of Illinois. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Birthing centers with everything you need for baby, plus birth planners, expert physicians, midwives, and more for you.
I'm a Parkview mom.
You can be too. Learn more at parkviewmom.com.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
-fed.com/peoplepay. Member FDIC.
Well, we head to the fourth quarter now. The Cougars had 48 points at the end of the first half. Now here's a nice run by, I think that's Wallace up there with a quick running play. Or was that 33? That we'll
33.
Check. Yeah, it was Conwell again. Cody Conwell with a nice explosive run up the middle, carries down to the 28-yard line.
He hit that hole very hard. It was great to see. It looks like Eli Wallace is checking in. He's a 5'9" freshman from Lakeland. Number 36. Let's see if they give him a touch now on the first down.
And he ran well. Chris Smith, by the way, wing back into the ball game off on the right side. Want to run the ball once again. And there will be a gain down to about the 26. So the Cougars right now, Wallace getting the call, but conservative calls, just, 54 is enough. Kevin Donnelly.
Right.
Not necessarily interested in running up the score, getting a look at some of the younger players, and keeping the first unit on the bench. Quinn Zare has checked in. He's a 278-pound sophomore, one of the tackles. Lines up behind Alex Woods. He's off the left side. And it'll be 2nd down and 8. Senaris wants to throw, checks off, now throws and completes. That was Cooper, I believe. Yanni Cooper down to about the 22. That was the second look. As Senaris wanted to go to the right corner, it was not there. Checked off nicely, and a lot of composure by this backup quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. He's got some time in the pocket, and is checking off, checking down his reads, and doing a fine job. Interesting to see Chris Smith in there, checked in as a wing back. He is 5'10", 230 out of Pike, and I think that 5'10" might be generous. And the 230 might be a little light.
3rd down and 5. Ball's at the right side, hash mark for Senaris. Pumps and threw into coverage and completes.
Wow.
Tell you what, he thought he had a window and shot it through there and got the catch completion.
Just a little hitch pattern there. Receiver, runs down the field, turns around, and starts to creep in, and the ball was right in his breadbasket. Beautiful throw.
You know, as much as anything, Sean, this will bring a smile to Kevin Donnelly because he wants to. You never know when you're going to need these guys for real.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's for real right now for them, but I mean in a game with a game on the line where you need one of these guys to come in and perform. Here's a run up the middle and a big hole inside the 10. I wasn't sure they had the football all the way inside the 5 as turning around there.
That's Wallace again, number
Eli
36.
Wallace.
Wow. He hits that hole. Very nice. Very nice.
And he'll set up once again. They'll flip-flop up to the right side. And here is Wallace again in the middle and looking for the goal line. Did he get in?
Ball's on the ground.
Touchdown, though. The Cougars think they've got one, and we don't. And it is. The near side official does indicate touchdown. So 4 yards officially, a touchdown run by Eli Wallace.
Well, that's fantastic to see. The freshman coming in from LaGrange, Indiana, scores his first touchdown for the USF Cougars.
So Wallace from 4 yards out.
On to attempt the extra point, 47, Brandon Grasha.
Well, we're going to see Brandon Grasha. You know, we had a That's one of those names from years past. Tommy Grasha was a great player for St. Francis out of the region, out of Northwest.
Hammond Morton.
Oh,
we got a flag.
There's a penalty marker on the field.
Let's hold on here.
That drive, Joe, was just tremendous. I like the mix of the run and the pass. Very methodical. Took up a lot of time. Got us into the fourth quarter. And it's good to see the second teamers and freshmen out there still being able to grind it out here late in the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll take a break. Hold on.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 22 on the defense. That player is a second. He is ejected.
Dakota Dorr, his day is gone. That's his second personal foul. So it is a 60-9 lead here for St. Francis here at home, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF, 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Is Greece on your bucket list? Travel with Redeemer Radio Odysseys to Greece in the footsteps of St. Paul in the spring of 2018. Join us for an information presentation webinar on Thursday, August 31st at 6 p.m. at either our Fort Wayne or South Bend office, or even on your home computer. Please register online to attend at redeemerradio.com/travel. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, August 31st to learn more about our Greece Odyssey.
Welcome back, everybody, to Bishop John M. Darcy Stadium with Sean McBride. I'm Joe Parson. As well, the Cougars, again, after what I saw in North Dakota last week, 55 points, I thought that it would be a little bit tougher challenge here. We expected a good performance, but I'll tell you what, this Cougar offense, it doesn't matter who Kevin Dowley's got out there today.
No, you're precisely right, Joe. They are so high-powered, so disciplined, and they know how to execute. You couple that with the coaching and the play calling, and they are just lights out. A fantastic team operating at midfield form here in their home opener.
And speaking of midfield, the kickoff with the penalty comes at the 50-yard line. That's fielded at the 6. Left side return, and there's some running room once again across the 30 all the way across just short of the 40-yard line. And that'll be a focal point, trust me, during the week. Kickoff coverage that has been, shall we say, a little porous today.
Yeah, very porous. That's precisely right. And again, as good as these Saints are from Illinois, what if, this kickoff team comes up against an even more high-caliber return team? That's going to be a problem. So you're right, Joe. It will be a focal point this week. And I don't think these kids are going to like it.
Look at this lineup now, the offense. And there was motion. I think Coward maybe came a little bit early across the line of scrimmage, but they'll run.
Galen Moore on the carry. There's a penalty marker on the field.
It's more of an inverted wishbone.
Exactly. I was just thinking that. You don't see that often.
No.
At least not at our level at college play. And I think there's a new quarterback out there as well.
Is that 16?
For the Saints, that is going to be Aaron Ellis. He's a 6'3 junior quarterback, 215. So he becomes
offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Blake Blaker came across that time. It was 90 versus 30.
Ellis was a transfer from St. Joe College.
Penalty moves the ball up to the 44-yard line. It's first down and 5. So Aaron Ellis now empty backfield with 4 wide to the right. And here comes Blaker trying to come as they'll throw the ball, long ball down. They got a man down there, and the ball is caught. And they will be in business for a possible touchdown inside the Cougar 10 at about the 5. And that's Ruffin.
Wow, an absolutely beautiful throw by Ellis. Hit Ruffin right in the chest, and it was great coverage by the Cougars. We had a man on half a step behind.
It'll be first and goal now. Michael Johnson is back in. Michael Jackson, yeah. Michael Johnson as the running back. And knocking on the door of the Saints. They've not scored in quite a while. So Ellis at quarterback out of the gun. He looks for Johnson on the read option. Hands it off, trying to push the pile inside the 3. See if he got to the 2. Now they're going to mark him down at about the 3-yard line.
Michael Johnson on the carry.
Very conservative call there. Hit the wall and get a push. See what you can come up with.
Tackle by 45.
So Aaron Ellis, the third quarterback of the day, used by Joe Curry. And Ellis now in command, running the offense. Got 3 wide to the right side, wanting to throw. Takes a look, now scrambles up and tripped up. Gets back to the 5. Cougars had a shot at him. I believe that was Blake Blaker that came through there. But he was able to slow him up enough, so that is a loss back to the 5-yard line. So it's 3rd down and goal from the 5.
Yeah, the corner blitz was effective there. It threw him out of his rhythm, but he was able to escape that. But as soon as he got up north into the pocket, it collapsed.
Aaron Ellis trying to make a play right now on 3rd down and goal from the 5. Looking, short drop, looks right, now scrambles up, being pursued and brought down right to the 5-yard line. Wow. Good reaction by St. Francis coming through there. That was Caleb Summers. He was one of the 2 silver and blue helmeted Cougars that got to him. And now it's 4th down and goal from the 4.
And number 50, Caleb Hankinson.
We're going to give credit also to Caleb Hankinson on the stop. But here we go. They're going to roll the dice. Empty backfield on 4th down. Needing 4 yards for the touchdown. Ellis looking, throws to the right corner, tip ball in the end zone, and that'll do it.
No good.
Cougars have their second 4th down goal line stand today. They'll take over the football. And it remains 61-9.
Yeah, again, except for that huge bomb that he threw onto the left side fly pattern, the Cougar defense has responded. When the field got short, they really sucked it up and stuffed the Saints.
Now, will it be Cenarius to come back out there and run the offense? It looks like it will be. We saw Danny Naylor into the game last week, and wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the next few minutes or so. But they're going to give Cenarius another series at least. And let's see if the Cougars just keep it on the ground now. Looks like it will be Cody Conwell in there as the running back. The give is to Conwell, trying to cut to his right and runs into a wall. Able to keep the legs turning and got maybe another yard or 2, but not much there.
No, he ran into the corner and the outside linebacker right there at the point of attack. No gain that time. And you see these guys trying to strip the ball at the same time, trying to keep him on his feet and dislodge that ball.
And right now it's running back du jour, and it'll be Eli Wallace that'll check in with 3 wide to the left side. And Cenarius, let's see if he's content to hand it off once again to Eli Wallace. He does. Run to the right side. There's Wallace trying to find some running room and pushes the pile up across the 10. And got another yard to the 11-yard line. Will bring up 3rd down and maybe a manageable 3 or 4 yards coming up.
You know, Wallace hits that hole very hard. He was dragging tacklers with him. There really wasn't much there other than his effort and a nice push to give him a little more breathing room here so they're not operating out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Not a real big guy, Sean. He's about 5'9", but he does pack 210 on that frame. Now they try to get out to about the 14-yard line on this snap for Cenarius. Wants to throw, looks, and has got the catch made, and I don't know if they've got enough yardage at the 14. That's close.
Number 80, Johnny Cooper.
It's going to be the spot, and the line judge may give it to him.
Cooper on the catch, and they're going to move the chains.
Wow.
They're kind of nonchalant about that, aren't they?
They really are. They don't make a big production of it.
Real subtle.
It's like a nod of the head. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Not real demonstrative. Clock at 8:30, time remaining in regulation. Cenarius stays in, works from the left side hash mark now, and does keep the ball with a handoff, and there's a hole up the middle. Cross the 20, the carry out to about the 21, 22-yard line. So the parade of running backs, Eli Wallace stays in there, and again, the guy's getting some attention from the coaching staff. He's performed and responded well. A gain of 9.
Josh Woodard did a fine job that time. Without him and a good open field tackle, he was off to the races.
Cooper, the lone wide to the left, but let's expect to see once again Wallace perhaps getting the handoff. And he does as Wallace stop and go move. Got to the 23, trying to carry the pile up to about the 24.
Eli Wallace on the carry.
Thigpen was in the backfield. He was able to elude Thigpen from the Saints, but once again, number 11, Josh Woodard, coming up to make the stop for the Saints.
Kyle May checks in, brings a play from the bench on the inside. And Cody Conwell now back in as the running back. Clock moves inside, 7.5 minutes time remaining. 61-9 our score. Cougars with 48 first half points. And Cenarius with 3 wide to his right on 1st and 10. Conwell up to the middle, runs into a pile, lowers the shoulder, and will carry across the 25 to about the 27.
If they have an opportunity to look at that one again, they're going to show him that if he just took a shade step left, he would have had a seam for a lot more yards.
Needs to talk to his buddy Justin Green about that, right?
Yes. A coaching opportunity is what they say.
Cougars content to huddle up. Still 20 on the play clock. And the game clock down to 6:45 remaining. And Conwell stays in now as the running back on 2nd down and 7. Conwell slides to his left, spins, and that's partly spins down because he was brought down with a nice shoestring tackle by Roger Thigpen. Boy, we knew he said his name a lot today.
Yeah, he's had a game. He really has. He's been a playmaker for the Saints.
Brings up 3rd down and 5.
Gain is to the 29, so it'll be 3rd and 5 for St. Francis.
If you're a Saints fan, you just wish your offense could do as well as Thigpen's been doing today.
Cougars were 47% a year ago in 3rd down situation. That topped every team in the MSFA. Here's Cenarius, pump fake, now checks off, looks left, looks right, scrambles to his right, looking, now throws on the run, and that one's trouble. Picked off at the 37-yard line, and they will go in for it. Saints touchdown, and that was our buddy Arthur King, I believe. Pick 6 against Cenarius.
Yeah, he was rolling out to the right, and he telegraphed he was staring down his receiver, who was in really loose double coverage out there, and he winged the ball out there to the flats, and that was too easy.
And Arthur's eyes got real big.
Yeah,
he says, it's something good's going to happen for me.
Yeah.
So Arthur King on the 37-yard interception, pick 6. Points on the board for the Saints late, and the Cougars were short a man as the extra point attempt is on the way, and that is going to be good. So 61-15 with a timeout here at Darcy Stadium. Still time for the Cougar offense when we return. This is Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Question. Do I, as a husband and father, profoundly recognize the precious, unique gems that my wife and each of my children are? Do I really look at their faces? I mean, really look into their faces. When I do, I will see the face of God, and this will be awe-inspiring. I'm Jim Littleton, formingfaithfulfamilies.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Momper from Momper Insulation. After last winter's brutal temperatures and record-breaking wind chills, it's not too early to start thinking about adding insulation to your attic, sidewalls, and crawl space. By adding additional insulation, you can cut your energy costs up to 30%. Call Momper Insulation today at 432-7543. Momper, the #1 name in insulation since 1956.
Well, the Cougars have had as much as a 52-point lead here today at home. Right now it's 61-16. And Saints a little something to cheer about. And there's still a lot of frustration out there. Kicker is real upset. They're going to go onside. It doesn't go 10 yards. Now it does. And I think they've got the ball.
I think they do.
St. Francis of Indiana caught flat-footed. It'll be, I believe, Saints ball right about midfield.
Yeah, there's the call. Yeah, right about the 47-yard line.
And Sean, not to be too critical, but how could you not have picked up on that?
Yeah. Wow.
But it's, in the scheme of things, not going to matter all that much, but it will from a coaching standpoint, trust me.
Oh, sure it will. Yeah, again, we talked about the special teams play by the Cougars today, really lagging behind the rest of their teammates when it comes to the offense and the defense and the regular play. And so especially kickoff coverage. So once again, the kickoff cover team,
it'll be 1st and 10 at the 46. And here is the read option. They'll run the ball up to about the midfield and a yard deep into Cougar territory. A little surprised that perhaps Ellis would not immediately try to throw deep.
By 54, Mitchell Thornberry.
Well, yeah, that's the time to do it. When you punch somebody in the gut, then you bring the haymaker. They didn't do it that time.
Adam Hoffer checks in the secondary for St. Francis. Here's Ellis stepping up the pocket, throws on Mills, got a wide open catch, easy touchdown. So they add another one. That's Lexus Jackson, good for 49 yards and a touchdown, and that's going to make the score look a little bit better.
This guy throws a beautiful pass. He was even on the run, running north in the pocket, and just put it right on the money to a very wide open receiver.
Ellis to Lexus Jackson for the touchdown, and suddenly the Saints are a force offensively. That's about 2 touchdowns in the last 24 seconds of game clock.
You got to wonder if the coaching staff for the Saints are kind of rethinking this Ellis guy as their number 2 behind Butkus.
Grayson Barnett comes on. Extra point kick is long enough, deep enough, and it is good.
Barnett's extra point
so add 1 to the total, 61-23. And again, we'll step out for this 30-second break. Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
This is Cindy Black, Executive Director of Redeemer Radio. We hear many stories of how God has spoken to people's hearts through Redeemer Radio with what they need, when they need it. Please share that people have come to confession after many years away. Young adults who have doubted their faith are reassured by what they hear. Non-Catholics who have journeyed into the church often cite Redeemer Radio as a key influence. Lives are being transformed thanks to our generous donors. You too can join our mission by going to redeemerradio.com or calling the station. Welcome home to your family of faith.
Just a reminder, Cougars back on the road next Saturday afternoon out in the Quad Cities areas in Davenport. It'll be St. Francis taking on the Fighting Bees of St. Ambrose. And it'll be a 2 o'clock Fort Wayne kickoff time. Our pregame show on Redeemer Radio begins at 1:45. Again, that's Fort Wayne time. And now I think the memo was received. We have 10 men up.
Right.
Grayson Barnett. Steve the Cougars, 17.
Expecting yet again another onside kickoff. You know, that last, again, when you had Grayson Barnett just pleading for the go-ahead from the officials, you would have thought that somebody might have said, you know what, I think they're going to do something a little bit different, a little trickeration here. Mm-hmm. So Barnett going to kick to his left and looking again for the go-ahead, and does hit the ball, high snap, and do they have it again?
No, I think St. Francis covered this time.
There's a penalty marker on the
Somebody
field.
took a shot. There might have been a spearing call against St. Francis of Illinois as they were trying to separate the up man from the ball. I think that was Duke that came up with the ball, actually.
Clock down to 5:11. Cougars are going to have the ball, and we'll see which way this goes, but if it goes against the Saints, they'll have it down even deeper. Right now it looks like we're on the 45, 46-yard line, pending the penalty call.
Cougar fans, just a reminder that H&L Electric is your full-service electrical contractor. From commercial and industrial to residential, H&L Electric can handle the smallest to the largest of projects for your business or residence. Call Pete Henry at H&L Electric.
Our referee, Tom Burns, is motioning for Kevin Donnelly to come out on the field, and there's going to be a little bit of an explanation going on.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. A block before the ball went 10 yards, 5 yards from the spot at the end of the play, first down.
You know, I thought that might be the case, that it didn't go 10 yards on the kickoff attempt.
Before contact, yeah.
So I think Kevin had the option of, I think that's what the discussion was. Do you want to take the penalty
and have him re-kick, or just tack on 5?
And he wants the ball.
Yeah.
And let's see, is that Cenarius or Naylor out there now?
It doesn't look like Cenarius. It might be.
We'll check in a moment. And it is Naylor. And here's a run up the middle, and that's a pretty good run inside the 35 down to about the 33-yard line.
On the carry.
So Danny Naylor now the third quarterback of the day, used by the Cougars.
Nick Brickens, number 34, checks in as the running back. He's a redshirt freshman out of Newtown.
Cougars like those quarterbacks big, Sean. Danny Naylor, redshirt freshman, 6'5", out of Xenia, Ohio. That's a gain of 7.
Number 12, Danny Naylor, now in the quarterback for the Cougars.
Clock just over 4.5 minutes, time remaining. 2 wide to the left side, and Naylor got into the game last week in North Dakota. Looks on the stretch handoff, gives it off to the right side, cut to the 30-yard line. And that was Nick Brickens. He's out of New Palestine, 5'10" redshirt freshman. Boy, you know, the guys along the sidelines will love this time of the ball game because I've got a chance.
That's right.
I got a chance
I'm going to
get
stand
in.
closer to the coach so he sees me. And that's precisely right.
Well, you can appreciate why there's such a battle with the road games just to make the travel bus.
Right.
Because you know, with this team this year, you got a chance to play.
Right.
See some snaps.
It's a good hard-nosed first down run that time for Brickens.
I believe he's going to stay in as the running back, so
Yeah.
picks up the first down. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line. On the wing back, that's Kyle May here. And now, what do we have, a timeout called?
Yeah, St. Francis calling a timeout. They didn't have a good formation out there. So.
61-23, 3:42 on the clock. Good chance for us to sneak in a timeout as well. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
I have a special word for married men, since I'm one of you. Our wives and children need us, faults and all. We are irreplaceable. We're made to be noble knights. Never leave
Guys,
your family. You are needed. God made us men inherently.
We have about 5 more spots.
5:30s?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
To pretend guns or swords. Let's channel the fight that is in us to love, sacrifice for, and protect our wives and children through thick and thin. It is before God that we made a vow when we became united in marriage with our wives. Let's keep it. Quote, so then, what God has united, man must not divide. Mark 10:9-10. I'm Jim Littleton, formingfaithfulfamilies.com.
Here's a run to the right side. Cougars got a chance to get a score. As it is, there'll be a run inside the 5-yard line. And what a run that time by Nick Brickens. Started play between guard and tackle off the left, cuts it to the right side, and nearly scored, Sean.
Great counter that time. Great execution by that O-line to have that guard pull in the opposite direction and really pop a seam on the right side. And he was off to the races. 1st and goal coming up.
Yeah, they're going to mark him down back at the 8. I thought he got inside the 5, but it'll be 1st and goal. Brickens stays in there as the big running back now for Danny Naylor. Lined up in front, they'll give the Brickens again and lowers the shoulder, runs through people, got down a couple of yards to the 6.
Another hard-nosed run. You know, he doesn't get skinny at the line of scrimmage. He's got too big of shoulders that time. So, again, he's just a good power back here on display, trying to punch in another score for the Cougars.
Cougars trying to run clock. We're inside of 3 minutes, time remaining.
He reminds me, actually, Joe, of Nicodemus, if you remember him. He's got the same size and body style. Yeah.
Cougars huddling up, and again, no urgency right now. Still 12 on the play clock. Brickens stays in as the one back. One wide to the right side. That is Hunley. And Naylor looking again. And to the 5 goes Brickens. Still some big hitting out there by this Saints team.
Taking a play off for sure. And I'm sure Brickens is in there. No. One more time. That's all I need. Just give me a ball again, and we'll get her in there.
Kurt Lazek in on the stop. 210-pound junior linebacker. And clock at 2 minutes right now in the late going of this ball game. Hunley will stay in there. Quinn Zare, as we mentioned, operating at left tackle right now. We've seen Landon Myers out there at center.
Play clock down under 5 now.
Got to hurry. Down to 2, down to 1. They did get the play off. It's a play action fake. Here's Naylor rolling to the left. Is now going to run to the end zone and gets a touchdown. Well, I tell you what, when you can't find anybody open, hey, why not run for the touchdown?
That's it. Good job.
6-yard touchdown jaunt by Danny Naylor, 6'5" redshirt. And that'll make it 67 points on the board today so far.
Great situational awareness by the backup quarterback right there as he was looking into the short field. Again, the ball was on the 6-yard line, so his receivers really couldn't go north and south. They had to go east and west. And then he saw the daylight out there and decides to run it into the corner.
Now Grasha on with the extra point. Right-footed kick is on the way, and that is good. 68-23. You're going to need a computer for stats here today. We'll take a timeout. 30-second. We'll be back with more. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Howdy, folks. This is Jimmy Aiken from Catholic Answers Live, which is heard right here on Redeemer Radio weekdays from 6 to 8 p.m. On Catholic Answers Live, we take live phone calls and offer Catholics and non-Catholics an opportunity to hear from and talk with some of the leading apologists and theologians in the church today. Thank you for listening to and supporting Catholic programming like Catholic Answers Live right here on Redeemer Radio.
When we get a chance, I'd like to take a look at the record books. I know we've had some 70-point ball games, but this early in the year, I guess that's what is most surprising, Sean. 55 last week on the road, and then 68 here today against a very good Saints team.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And against Coach Donnelly touted their skills all week long, and we look back at their previous opponents, scoring 14 and keeping Morningside shut out for as long as you could. There were some real concerns with the Saints coming into Bishop Darcy Stadium. Well, those are certainly gone. So,
trust me, a lot of folks in the NAIA will take notice of this. Squib ball filtering through, picked up at the 29, and a run left side, and that'll be up to about the 35-yard line. So we'll see a few snaps with 1:26 remaining. Saints do have all three of their timeouts, but barring some unforeseen circumstance, wouldn't expect them to take too many of those. But we will see.
Yeah, it looks like right here, when you look at USF 70 more points in a game, the last time this happened was back in November of 16, 79-20 over Missouri Valley. And it looks like nine times.
Here's Ellis in the pocket, scrambles to his right, wants to run, and was close to the first down, gave it up. And it'll be interesting to see where they mark him, because he gave ground, and they will mark him down at the 44. It'll be officially a gain of 9 for Aaron Ellis. And again, we are still very impressed with this young man, the third quarterback used by Coach Joe Curry. They'll hand it off, straight ahead drive to midfield. That'll give a first down to the Saints now with under a minute remaining. Quick hitting play once again. Carried that time by Jordan Smith. And they're trying to play fast now. Here's the drop by Ellis, flush to his left. And can run and does run. And trying to step out of bounds at the Cougar 43-yard line, maybe the 42. Leaves 39.6 seconds remaining in regulation.
Good heads-up play by the backup quarterback. Get out of bounds, stop the clock, and get some positive yards all at the same time.
Cougars with that 45-point lead and trying not to give up any more here in the late going. Ellis out of the gun, too wide to the short side. They'll run the ball once again into that was a stack now. Gain, and I believe that was Smith again. Jordan Smith inside the Cougar 40 to the 38. And we're getting down. That will be good for a first down, so the clock did stop again and begins to run now inside of 30 seconds time running. Cougars with two safeties back, and Ellis, will he go to the air? He will. Drops the throw, flush to his right, steps out of traffic, comes back to his left. Got a block, looking downfield, being chased, and got out of bounds while it took a big hit over there on the far sideline.
And you know, the only reason that probably wasn't flagged is he had the ball cocked. Did you see that, Joe, as he was running out of bounds? So the threat, the threat of a pass was there, and he got shoved out of bounds.
Gains 4. We have 12 seconds remaining. Might be the last play of the game, especially if they run the ball. They'll throw. Ellis in the pocket, steps up, looks, flush to his right. Still, now he's going to run inside the 30 to the 25, trying to get out of bounds with 2.9 seconds remaining. They'll have one more snap remaining.
Ellis is going to be exhausted here at the end of the game. He is really running about 100 yards. Unfortunately, most of it is east and west now. And they call a timeout.
I see Kylan Bass just checked into the ball game, and it is the Saints who do take a final timeout. So let's take this 30-second break in our 68-23 ball game. Cougar football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
This is Bishop Kevin Rhodes, Bishop of Fort Wayne, South Bend, inviting you to join me this Wednesday at noon for a new episode of Truth and Charity. I'll talk about the upcoming feast of the exaltation of the Holy Cross, and then the sin of racism and how we can respond. Join me Wednesday at noon.
Truth and Charity with Bishop Rhodes is brought to you in part by Notre Dame Federal Credit Union.
Well, Joe Curry over there with his third quarterback, Ellis. And he says, Coach, do we have a plan for 45 points?
Yeah, no.
Probably not going to happen.
No.
But they would love to stick it in the end zone one more time at the Cougar 25 now. It'll be 1st and 10. And Aaron Ellis dropping the throw, throws the ball to the corners, got a man out there, and the ball is underthrown and incomplete, and that'll do it. So they were looking to the right corner to Jean Petrozak, but incomplete, and this one will go into the books as a Cougar victory, 68-43. And Sean, when we come back, we'll be talking about the first half that Nick Ferrer with 5 touchdown throws, I should say, at 301 yards passing in the first 30 minutes.
Right.
And really one of the big stories of this big St. Francis Cougar victory over USF Illinois. 68-23 the final, and we'll be back with our post-game show. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, WRDF 106.3 FM, Northeast Indiana.
Hey, it's Kyle from the Kyle Hyman Show, heard weekdays from 7 to 8 a.m. here on Redeemer Radio. And every morning we meet you where you are, getting out of bed, drinking your coffee, on your way to work, and through prayer, guests, personal stories, sometimes games, we bring you Catholicism with joy and fun to start your day. So don't miss the Kyle Hyman Show weekdays from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on Redeemer Radio.
Hello, this is Mike Ripley, board chair at Redeemer Radio. This year, I encourage you to turn your financial support into a recurring gift to maximize your investment in reaching more souls with the message of God. Once you become a recurring gift partner, you'll be automatically enrolled in our St. Gabriel Perpetual Gift Society with both spiritual and practical benefits. You can review all those benefits and join our St. Gabriel Perpetual Gift.
Okay, good deal.
RedeemerRadio.com.
Now, with analysis of the game, what went right and what needs some work, let's go back to the stadium with the voice of the Cougars, Joe Parson, and the Redeemer Radio sports team.
And that includes Sean McBride, of course, with us back here at home today. And tell you what, you're going to need some time and a calculator here because lots of numbers here today. You know, Sean, it was a 7-0 ball game, then 7-3 after the field goal by St. Francis, Illinois. You thought, well, maybe this is going to be a dogfight. It was still 20-3 early in the in the start of the second quarter. But Nick Ferrer was going to have one of those rare days, given the time by the offensive line and spotting Rocky James in particular 3 times in that first half for touchdown catches and a 48-9 lead. And just a big effort by this number 1 ranked St. Francis team that won the national championship a year ago. And right now, they would have to be odds-on favorites to repeat. And again, I realize a lot of minutes to be played. You've got SXU, you've got Marion down the road, and of course even St. Ambrose on the road next week. But right now, this team looks to be very, very dangerous.
Well, again, we talked about it during the broadcast, Joe, that they are dangerous. When you have a quarterback that can throw for 5 touchdowns and over 300 yards in 30 minutes, wow, look out. And again, the execution on both sides of the ball was mid-season, if you ask me, mid to late season. These kids have not missed a step. They've built upon a solid foundation, and I think they can make a very long run if, in fact, they stay healthy.
Let's take a look at the line score of the ball game. And again, big numbers for the Cougars in the first half. They had 2 touchdowns on the board in the first quarter. They added 34 more and took a 48-9 lead into the halftime dressing room. Just 6 points in the third quarter. Then each team put a couple of touchdowns on the board in the late going with backup reserves in that fourth quarter. All started with a Justin Green touchdown run of 2 yards out at the 9:46 mark, as it was Gardner adding the extra point. That capped a 90-yard drive, and the Cougars off and running. Early in the game, they led it 7-0. But then after a Ferrer fumble, one of the rare mistakes he made all day, it gave the Saints possession at the Cougar 22. That would pave the way for a 27-yard field goal for Grayson Barnett at the 2:56 mark, and it was 7-3. But Ferrer to Rocky James on a beautiful 33-yard touchdown pass play into the left corner of the end zone. James all alone at 96 seconds remaining in the quarter as Gardner hit the extra point, 14-3 USF. And then a block kick right at the end of the first quarter gave the Cougars possession at the Saints 15. That would pave the way to yet another Ferrer to Rocky James touchdown toss, good for 6 yards at this point with 13:47 remaining in that first half. The kick was blocked, 20-3 USF. Then Don Butkus, who we saw off and on today, started. He fell down on a non-contact injury, hurt a leg, came out of the game, came back in, got hurt again on a non-contact injury, trying to make a cut. And then finally we saw the third quarterback of the day for the Saints in Aaron Ellis. But Butkus, with 11:03 remaining in the first half, to Pitzerzak, good for 4 yards, a touchdown. The try for 2 was no good, 20-9. Ferrer then, a long list of Cougar points to Blackwell, good for 14 yards to make it 27-9. We had the blocked extra, I should say the field goal attempted by the Saints. Ryan Johnson blocks it. He picks up the ball. I didn't get the official yardage. We're estimating 63 yards at the 5:47 mark. And let's talk about that. It made it 34-9, but again, a big, big turnaround.
It's a spark plug. You know, this is, if you needed more ammunition to talk about a great team, there it is. He was just on point, fast and accurate, and really wanted to own that play, and he did. And so it was electrifying to watch. He got the sidelines amped up, and, of course, the Cougar faithful here were on their feet. It was fantastic to see.
That's 2 weeks in a row, Sean, because last week it looked like Jamestown had an easy touchdown. Ryan never gave up on the play and got inside position, intercepted the ball here today with the blocked, missed field goal, and then the return for the touchdown. Then the Ferrer was not done yet. He would find Sean Boswell with a sliding catch in the end zone, 27 yards at the 1:10 mark, 41-9. And Rocky James with another sliding catch off of a Nick Ferrer touchdown pass with 19 seconds remaining, good for 8 yards and a 48-9 lead at halftime for USF. They would not be done. Schumacher would intercept the ball, and that would give possession to St. Francis at the Saints' 39-yard line. And almost immediately after, it would set up a Justin Green touchdown run of 16 yards at the 7:59 mark, 54-9, silver and blue. Wilmer Cole had an interception on the day, but they really couldn't do much with that until Eli Wallace came into the game, runs from 4 yards out in the fourth quarter to make it 61-9. A couple of late touchdowns by the Saints. Anthony King with a pick six, 37-yard interception return to make it 61-16. Then they went onside, recovered the kick, and that set up a 49-yard Ellis Jackson touchdown. And the Cougars would get a Danny Naylor scrambled touchdown run late with 1:35 remaining. That would wrap up the icing on the cake to make it 68-23 the final. And USF 2-0 on the road. 2-0, I should say, on the year, and now headed on the road next Saturday to St. Ambrose. Tell you what, let's take a final timeout. We'll come back with Sean, and hopefully we'll have some additional numbers as far as individual stats, and we'll talk about the season at hand. 68-23 the final. This is Cougar Football on Redeemer Radio, 106.3.
You're sweeter than strawberry pie, just like the morning your smile brings the sunshine.
The Parkview Family Birthing Centers, with everything you need for baby, plus birth planners, expert physicians, midwives, and more for you.
I'm a Parkview mom.
You can be too. Learn more at parkviewmom.com.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
It's all Greek in this particular DOS-based system, so I don't have anything for you. I wish I did, but
well, let's talk about the outcome here today. Now the Cougars hit the road against St. Ambrose, but again, 55 last week, 68 today, in a high-scoring, potent offense. And again, I think everybody, not only in the MSFA, but you know teams Baker, Morningside, Reinhardt are all taking a look. Lindsey Wilson, they're all taking a look. How did USF do today? So you do have some numbers.
Yeah, they just popped up here, so they got into a little different look here. So we're going to run down the numbers for the Cougars here, and we talk about the score. Obviously, is 68-23 is your final. 35 first downs on the day for your Cougars. The rushes, they carried the rock 52 times for 242 yards on the game. Little pass heavy today, 332 yards through the air. When we look at that, the quarterback's 27 completions on 37 attempts and 1 interception. Total offense for the Cougars, 89 plays, 574 total offensive yards today. And let's go down the line here. We've got punt returns. There was 2 for 27 yards. Kickoff returns, 2 for 17 yards. We've got interceptions, 2 of those with a 1-yard return. And penalties. Pretty clean game, actually. 8 for 74 yards there. Possession time was pretty equal, 37 minutes and change for both squads. Third down conversions for the Cougars was fantastic, 18 of 20. And 7 of 8 on red zone opportunities there for the St. Francis. Again, that 1 missed field goal there. Individually on the ground, Justin Green had 2 carries for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. Eli Wallace, 7 carries for 40 yards. Nick Brickens in the backside of the game here, 5 carries for 35 yards. And Ryan Sonata, the workhorse in the middle, 10 carries for 22 yards. And again, through the air, Ferrer went 22 for 29, 301 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
All in the first half,
All in the first half. That's precisely right. And Clay went 5 for 7 with 1 interception for 31 yards. Again, good distribution through the air. Rocky James had over 100 yards in the air with 7 receptions and 3 touchdowns. Sean Boswell had 5 catches for 70 yards and a touchdown. Rixey had 4 catches for 59 yards, and Zach Gegner had 3 catches, an outstanding one-handed grab catch. For 24 yards. On the punting today, no punts. No punts today. So Nepper was silent for the St. Francis Cougars. So an overall outstanding opportunity or display today for the St. Francis Cougars.
Well, what can you say? Very impressive performance, 68 points on the board, and the Cougars now 2-0 in the season, head to the road next Saturday to Davenport, Iowa. They'll take on the Fighting Bees of St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose today was home to Lindenwood Belleville, and of course the game we've talked about elsewhere that it has some mild interest, certainly from Fort Wayne fans. Marion, they are taking on Robert Morris today as the Knights lost a week ago Thursday at home. They lost to St. Xavier. No, I believe that was at St. Xavier. So, but anyway, the Cougars won that ball game, SXU over Marion. But again, a key matchup today between Marion and Robert Morris. Final comments.
Really, the only thing, it was beautiful. It was a thing of beauty. It was so fun to watch both the offense and the defense struggle here. The only thing that was blaringly obvious to myself, and of course, Joe, you saw it as well, special teams needs cleaned up. That's it. You know, the kickoff team was lackluster in their coverage, and even the kick return team couldn't see some very basic signs. So other than that, I don't know that just tweaks, here and there, and the Cougars are already in midfield form or mid-season form here at their home opener. What a great game.
Cougar fans enjoying this sun-swept afternoon, cool temperatures, but all in all, a great day when you win at 68-23. Cougars on the road next week. Again, we'll be on the air at 1:45 Fort Wayne time with a pregame show on Redeemer Radio. Kickoff at 2. Special thanks to the Poinsett girls, Caroline and Mary Poinsett in the studios. Did a great job here today. For Sean, I'm Joe. Till next Saturday. So long, everybody. Thanks so very much for listening.
Beautiful baby, you're sweeter than strawberry pie. Just like the morning, your smile brings the sunshine.
The Parkview Family Birthing Centers, with everything you need for baby, plus birth planners, expert physicians, midwives, and more for you.
I'm a Parkview mom.
You can be too. Learn more at parkviewmom.com.
My grandpa taught me years ago, do business with people you know and who know you. That's why I joined Fort Financial Credit Union. Their staff knows I'm busy at college. They set me up with a checking account, a debit card, and an auto loan. With the Fort's mobile app, I can check balances, transfer money, and make my car payment. My grandparents loved doing business with the Fort, and I do too. My future, my family, my Fort.
How do you design one of the most advanced ERs in the country? At Parkview, we did it by focusing all our attention on you, the patient, by involving doctors and nurses in the design process, by creating quieter, more private spaces, and by leading the region in heart, stroke, and trauma care. This is not your typical emergency room. It's Parkview. In an emergency, isn't this where you'd rather be?
Parkview, your partner in health.
Friday Night Lights. Fort Wayne football from the comfort of your own home, or when you're on the go. The same night the pigskin touches the end zone, or is stopped dead in its tracks. 10 teams, 5 games, one website, summitcitysports.com. Live stream high school games, score updates, and news hub for all Fort Wayne area athletics. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and summitcitysports.com.